I sing the song.
I don't even know why I try anymore. Even know I don't even know why I try anymore. Even anymore.
I've seen every chat, it's not going to be an oh my goodness tonight. It's not going to be a jovial night. We are not dreaming tonight. In fact, I can't wait to wake up from this nightmare. WrestleDream was one of the worst AEW pay-per-views that I've had to endure in 6 years covering this product. And it blows my mind how this is the content. How this is the content. Why this was the content I was pulled off commentary for. An absolute indie mud show embarrassment of epic proportions. Proportions that you have never seen before. I don't even know if I have the words to piece together tonight to express my displeasure. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Legitimately just hit 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Who else is going live tonight to cover this shit? I want to be done with it. Over and done with it. And then we'll talk about it on Tuesday with the Solid Monster. I'm going to the beer garden where, actually, no, not the beer garden. I wish I was at the beer garden. We're going to the venue. It's open late. My mother's basement. When I get there on this Sunday morning, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This, unfortunately, is your AEW WrestleDream 2025 post-show for your Sunday morning, October 19th, 2025. I'm your host, JD, from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Sunday morning, wherever you may be, joined by the one and only, one of the hardest working men I know, and doing reaction content the right way. who had the #1 stream, I believe, over Cultaholic. Chi-Town Smart Jesse, what's going on, brother?
Hi, guys.
How you doing, man?
Bruh, I was shocked, man. I was shocked and humbled and honored to actually have a larger viewing audience than the great Cultaholic.
Well, you know, they're shills, bro. So, you know, that's eventually going to catch up to them.
I mean, look, man. I'm just going to give some honest opinions about some stuff that happens. I'm not going to... Oh! Whoa!
Wow! Oh man, Moxley almost drowned Darby, man. What an unbelievable moment.
You know, it's supposed to be laid back, chill environment. We're gonna chat, you know, we're gonna have some fun, we're gonna talk some shit, man, and that's what we do. And everybody showed up and showed out, man. I'm humbled, man. We are doing fantastic stuff.
Listen, Frag, dude, Denise had 700, man. Don't rain on the parade, man. Nobody's watching Denise. That matters. Come on now. Come on now, man. Don't worry, Jesse will get to 700, bro. He'll be clearing Denise within 6 months, easy.
We'll get there. I did not check. I do not have Denise on my feed, so I didn't even.
Keep it that way. Keep it that way.
I mean, that's fine. No, we'll get there. We had upwards of about 450 at the highest. So
there you go.
Not bad.
There you go.
Bad.
I have to shout out this guy here.
There we go.
With the $100 super chat, he says nothing. Boots says nothing. Another round of applause for Boots, man. Come on.
There we go. Shout out to Boots. Demonite crew.
There you go. Oh, man. Jesse, I feel like I'm locked and loaded and ready to go, man. Listen. I can't start the stream off all angry, man. I'm gonna have to have you ease us into it, man. I can't start off at a 10. I gotta start off like a 5 and then build slowly up, man. So please entertain our fun community and please give us your biggest takeaway from what I thought was one of the more embarrassing AEW pay-per-views, largely a waste of time tonight. One of the worst pay-per-views I think they've ever put on in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I think it gets a bad. First of all, shout out to Ross in the chat. I see you over there, brother.
There he is. On? What's up, Ross?
So I think the problem with this show is the labeling, okay? Because was it a bad pay-per-view? Yes. It was a bad. It was a bad.
Flat out, it was a bad show, man. It was a bad show.
But it was not a bad show. If they had just made it a TV show and they cut the fat of the unnecessary bullshit and just made it a Saturday night show, it actually would have been a really good wrestling TV show. But the fact of this was supposed to be a build-up, the fact that this was supposed to be a crescendo to story we were being given, the fact that they labeled this and charged people $40 to $50 made this a bad show because that's not what it was worth. It was a great TV show, and that's all they had to do. This would have been one of those TV specials that they give us from time to time, back when we used to have 4 pay-per-views a year, and they had to connect the dots between shows, made this a Saturday night special, condensed this shit down to about 2.5 hours or so on a Saturday night, made it a special deal or whatever. I would have enjoyed this. But pay-per-view? No. There's no need for this. There's a bunch of repeat fucking matches. The only thing that happened on this show that was pay-per-view worthy was the main event. And that's because of the spectacle that they gave us of the I Quit match. And even that ended kind of oddly. I mean, all this gruesome shit that happened in the match, and it ended on a submission hold. It just ended on a regular wrestling hold. Jon Moxley submitted to a sharpshooter. You know, no sharpshooter under special circumstances. It wasn't like it was a sharpshooter with a chain around his mouth. It wasn't like it was a sharpshooter with a knife to his throat. It was just a sharpshooter. He got hit with a bat a couple of times. I mean, it was just an odd fucking ending. I didn't understand the ending, but they delivered on, the I Quit match. It was fine. But other than that, bro, it was just a bunch of good wrestling matches. There were some good matches. They just weren't pay-per-view level matches. That's all.
We got another one in here. Cam G with a $100 super chat. Cam G says, I was falling asleep halfway through this show. Why was this event even a thing? Much JD, please don't pop a blood vessel. Cam G, I will try. I will try not to pop a blood vessel. Yeah. Listen, Jesse is correct. Jesse is he's the calm to the show where I usually get very animated. I'm going to try and remain kind of level here. I know I could get a little antsy. I probably will. This show was an absolute waste of time. Everything Jesse said was 100% correct. Most of this show was Dynamite or Collision worthy. The only thing on this show that was remotely pay-per-view worthy was Okada Takeshita versus Brodido. And because of the fucking sheer embarrassing spectacle that it was the main event between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin in the I Quit match, which is basically just the all-in main event in a different setting without Hangman Page. Because that's exactly what we got. They tried to outdo themselves from what they did there. That meant something in the small story that we got going into that show. This is just because Darby couldn't make All-In, so they needed to give you Darby going into WrestleDream and do everything that they wanted to do with Darby going into All-In but couldn't. You guys are unbelievable, man. Man, you guys are going to upset the Reddit virgins, man. They don't like when we're successful over here. Toni Garudo with a $100 super chat. Tony says, drinking a screwdriver and watching the aces of the IWC on my big screen TV. Much love, OTS family and Taco Crew. Thank you for keeping it 100% real. Also, congrats to Jesse on surpassing Cultaholic for the number two WrestleDream stream. Another round of applause there, man.
What's up? Thank you so much, brother.
Love it. Love the energy, man. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. You guys are acting as if it's fucking 7 p.m. over here. I love it. The
first thing I said tonight when I saw that I passed Cultaholic, I'm like, sweet, you passed Cultaholic. I'm like, oh shit. Let me see if Ross and Dub are live. Like, oh fuck. Let me go see. Like, nope, they ain't live. We good.
There you go. Yeah, this show was largely a waste of time. This was a waste of money. This was a waste of energy. You know, and you can go back and reference, Jesse and I have called Tony Khan Mr. Pay-Per-View on more than one occasion. And AEW's bread and butter is their pay-per-view. This pay-per-view was a culmination of how bad their television shows have been coming out of All-In. You know, a lot of people want to brag that this is the greatest year in AEW history. I still don't understand how those words are even uttered when you had CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Adam Cole all debut within a month of each other in 2021. I just don't understand that. This is not the greatest year of AEW. This is not the greatest stretch of shows or whatever Tony Khan wants to string together for the fake media. This is the worst creative year. This is worse than last year. And last year was bad. This is the worst creative year in the history of AEW, and none of these shows mean anything. They're just random matches with little to no story that don't mean anything, that don't drive interest, that are driving the ratings down, that are producing absolutely some of the worst ticket sales to any of their weekly shows and pay-per-views. Bound for Glory outsold this show. I thought AEW's bread and butter was their pay-per-view. You know what would have actually drawn people to the venue to actually want to see this shit live? Actual emotion, story, giving reason to care. They didn't do any of that. These shows are incredibly too long. You know, he wants to brag that, we've seen some great success with the afternoon shows. Why wasn't this an afternoon show? You want to brag about how successful the afternoon shows were, and they're not really showing you any difference compared to the 8 p.m. shows. I don't understand why we are not doing afternoon shows. If not the afternoon shows, I don't know why we're not doing at least 7 p.m. I don't understand it. Is it so difficult to fucking push the show from 8 to 7 p.m.? What is the big fucking deal? Who wants to go off the air at 12:30? Who wants to do what we do at 1 a.m.? Who wants to sit here all night and dedicate their time to something that they put absolutely little to zero effort into? That's number one.
Yeah.
This show was Collision and Dynamite worthy. How many matches were on this show, Jesse? 9? 9 by your count, maybe, I think?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9
matches. They could have cut this to 6. 6. They could have been out of here by 11 o'clock. By the time fucking Adam Page and Samoa Joe were going on, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel was ending, and we were going off the air. That is a problem, bro. And that match, that card had 5 matches. 5 matches. That's a problem for them. I still say that 6 is the sweet spot for them. This was a 6-match show. If you wanted that's the most that I would have accepted on this show. I don't understand why he continues to overbook these shows and he doesn't save most of what we got tonight for Dynamite. If he actually cut this show by at least a third, Dynamite would have actually been a banger fucking card. He's already booked Okada and Brodido for the Unified Championship on Dynamite Wednesday. He could have saved Jamie Hayter versus Tekla. He could have saved Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe for the TNT Championship for Dynamite. He could have saved something else that didn't need to be on this show for that show. Why do you need to over fucking book the shows so that everybody is so fucking tired before we get to the main event?
Mercedes and Mina.
Mercedes and Mina should have happened on Wednesday. Why did Mercedes need to have an open challenge? The woman just wrestled Persephone in Mexico, and she's forced to board a plane to make this fucking sloppy shop show just to defend the championship that she was never going to lose. Why couldn't you just do that on Wednesday? I don't really understand that. If you collectively put all those matches together for Dynamite, Dynamite would actually be a watchable show on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But nobody knows in moderation in this company. Nobody knows quality over quantity in this company. Everything has just got to be match after match after match after match. And most of these matches didn't have a fucking story going into it. And most of these matches generated zero interest from the viewer. I don't get it. That's problem number one. If you want us to get into the creative aspect of why this show was fucking terrible, we can certainly start at the top, Jesse. What was the biggest creative takeaway for WrestleDream, in your honest opinion?
The biggest, the best creative takeaway?
The whatever you thought was the biggest. Whatever the biggest happening was tonight, in your opinion, on the show.
So the biggest thing that happened tonight was the Ops turning heel tonight for some very fucking strange reason. At the end of Hangman versus Joe, it was a hug fest. Respect you, you respect me, we're all good. And all of a sudden, Joe just cleans Hangman's clock, and then instantly Hobbs and Shibata join right in, and the Ops have turned heel. So I'm sure. Well, I can take that back because we don't always get explanations. Hopefully, we'll get an explanation come Wednesday. We don't always get those. But just for some reason, they turn heel right after a loss. If they were going to turn heel, how come they didn't come out and help them fucking win the title? I don't know. But the biggest takeaway creatively going forward is why the Ops turn heel. And it looks like we're going to be getting Hangman and Joe all over again now with Joe as a certified heel.
Yeah, I don't really. First of all, I love Samoa Joe, and I think he operates great either way. But I prefer him to be a heel.
Yeah.
Why he turned heel on Adam Page? I mean, if there's one thing that we need a fucking promo for and an explanation for, it would be that. Because at what we see tonight coming out of this show, none of it makes any sense. On top of the fucking story that they built going into this match, which also didn't make any fucking sense. So why did he turn heel? Because he lost. So are you trying to tell me that Samoa Joe is a sore loser? Samoa Joe doesn't act like a sore loser. Samoa Joe has never acted like a sore loser. I don't really understand that. Does that automatically make him now a heel? Does he need to be a sore loser to be a heel? I don't understand why you turned him heel and the Ops heel when they were very much over as a unit. Now what are you going to do with them as a heel group? So the only thing I could possibly think of is they made a determination before this show went live tonight that the winner of the Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate would get a Trios Championship match. The only reason why I think they turned the Ops heel is they don't have a reason why they turned the Ops heel. The only reason why they turned the Ops heel is because they need a heel faction going into that match with the Hurt Syndicate now on Wednesday's show for the Trios Championships, and they want to turn the Hurt Syndicate into a babyface faction. That's the only reason why they did it.
Which again, it makes no sense because the Hurt Syndicate has effectively been working tweener. They can work heel or babyface depending on what feud that they're in. So I don't understand why you just flopped out the entire Ops just for this feud. So I thought about that already, but I'm still baffled by this. You didn't need to turn the Ops heel to feud with the Hurt Syndicate. You didn't need to.
No, you didn't need to at all. It's an absolutely haphazardly made creative decision. I don't really understand it. I don't know who's asking for another Paige versus Joe match at Full Gear now. So what happens there? You just turn this guy freshly heel. You're going to give him a fresh coat of paint, it looks like, and he's going to go into another world championship match. Are you actually going to develop a story between now and then, which you have 4 weeks to do? And what happens when we get to Full Gear? Is he going to lose again? Or are you actually going to put the championship on him?
Yep. That now you booked yourself into a corner. He just lost tonight. You are not going to rebook this match again with him just turning heel and then have him lose again. So now you're pretty much telling everyone that we're going to get a brand new champion come Full Gear.
Unless they go into Full Gear and we get some bullshit that happens. And then at World's End, we get a situation where MJF comes back and he's looking that demon in the face and he wants revenge on what happened at World's End 2 years ago where Joe took the championship from him. Is that a possibility where he comes back and cashes in and makes it a triple threat match between him, Joe, and Adam Page? I don't know. Or maybe it's just a one-on-one match between MJF and Samoa Joe. Then where does that leave Hangman Page? Because MJF was feuding with Hangman Page and has made advances towards Hangman Page before he went on his sabbatical to go film his movie and do whatever else he's got to do. So
MJF is still a heel.
MJF is still a heel.
Well, I'm saying now. So what we're gonna do now? Heel versus heel.
Heel versus babyface.
I don't know, bro. I hope they have a plan. I hope they have a fucking
bro. They don't have a plan. Everything you're watching is playing out in real time, bro. Week to week, day to day.
Fucking hell, man.
I don't know who asked for this match again. I mean, it was fine for what it was. It wasn't Adam Page's best match or anything, but what does the heel turn mean? You did it because everything else coming into this was pretty much dead before we even got to the conclusion. It was a dead match. Virtually no story, and you needed something that was going to elicit some sort of shock and awe or some excitement there. And that's all you did. That's all they knew how to do. Yeah, let's turn him heel. All right, well, the way I look at it is this guy helped Adam Page for months take the world championship back to AEW away from Jon Moxley, and now all of a sudden he's turning heel. For what reason? What is the reason why you helped this guy to beat Jon Moxley and vanquish the Death Riders at All In, only to then turn your back on him for what? You want the world championship? Okay, but you got to give me the why as to why you did what you did and the why for every action that led you to turning heel on Adam Page, which he has yet to do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
don't know. You know, when Jesse, when we're more confused coming out of a storyline, it's not a good storyline.
No, and they can't pull one of those. They do something and don't explain it bullshits. They're gonna have to do a lot of fucking explaining come Wednesday to explain why they did what they did. They gotta make it make sense.
So what happens on Wednesday? I mean, they just turned heel, right? They got this momentum, if you want to call it that. Do they go into Wednesday's Trios Championship match against the Hurt Syndicate and lose? Does Adam Page cost the Ops the Trios Championships against the Hurt Syndicate? So he's going to be a double loser back-to-back days.
More than likely, yes. Yeah.
It's great. It's fantastic. Great. That's great creative meetings you got over there, bro. I don't know. I mean, we'll go over that and how everything came about there. Mercedes. I texted Jesse during this. He texted me. Obviously, we were a little dumbfounded as to why everything was going on here. I know he's probably got a lot to say about this. Kris Statlander wrestled Toni Storm in what was honestly, in my honest opinion, Jesse, I don't know how you felt about it, a boring match. I mean, it was half the crowd was dead for at least 75% of it, and then they kind of turned it up a little bit, and Kris Statlander beat Toni Storm clean. That was legitimately the only outcome. I mean, Toni beating Kris Statlander would have absolutely sent the internet wrestling community into a frenzy. It would have been absolutely so disrespectful to Kris Statlander, but she did end up getting the win clean. They got her one token victory here. She beats Toni Storm. She retained the championship tonight. After the match was over, Jesse, do you want to explain to everybody what exactly happened and how basically AEW disrespected their women's world champion?
So I got the match as being good. Why? Because the match was just good. Want to know why it was boring? You're not wrong. You say it was boring. You're not wrong. It was boring because there was no real interesting story going into it. We had these two doing a little bit of a striptease in front of Renee one day, and they went out there and fought for 30 seconds and then just looked at each other and walked away. There was no build. But the wrestling match itself was fine. Kris Statlander, one of my favorites. Toni Storm, same. They went out there and they had a good wrestling match, a match that just no one gave a shit about.
They tried to get you to care about it. They put these fancy video packages together with these great looking visuals. I mean, they tried, but I mean, there's just nothing there for them to work with.
No, you can't garner up interest, 45 seconds before the match starts. All right. The interest for the match begins weeks before the pay-per-view. That's how you get interest into the match. The video packages were fine, but it's not enough to make us care about the match. All right. So the match ends. Stat wins Saturday Night Fever. And before she could even finish, getting her praise, Mercedes comes out and just takes all of that heat away. Comes out, gets in the ring, literally tells her to get the hell out of her ring and shit like that. And what did the champion do? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Dum-de-dum-de-dum.
Just walked away and just left. All right. Now, full disclosure, after the next match, which was Mercedes waiting for her open challenge opponent to come out, she requested that she face a champion for her title versus their opponent's title, and it turned out to be Mina, who is the Ring of Honor interim women's television champion.
Interim is the key word, chat. Interim.
So that match happened. That match was flat out boring to me because A, the match physically was boring, and B, there couldn't have been any build because it was a mystery opponent in an open challenge. So that was just absolute ass to me. Now, after Mercedes won, Kris Statlander then comes back out to get her heat back, comes out, gets in Mercedes' face. I forget what she did. Did she slap her or some shit? I don't fucking know. But clearly we are headed into, well, they confirmed this later on, we are heading into a Mercedes Kris Statlander feud, which scares the holy hell out of me.
Oh, it doesn't scare me because I see into my crystal ball, bro. I know exactly what's going to happen.
I don't know why it is happening this way. First off, Mercedes has like 47 titles or whatever the fuck it is, but she is not even the top champion on her own brand. So that already is a creative loophole. She's walking around like she's top shit, and she's not. She has all these titles, and she is not the best in her own company. Kris Statlander holds the title that is the absolute top of the women's division, AEW. So now here we are. Mercedes and Kris Statlander are going to be going one-on-one. I mean, I'm guessing for Kris Statlander's title and not any of Mercedes' titles, I'm guessing.
Well, if they wanted to make it unpredictable, they should put the TBS championship on the line, too, just to say, it's not going to be that blatantly obvious.
Yeah. Look, man, I don't know where they're going with this, but this is not going to be a good look. This is not going to be an outcome that anybody's going to be benefiting from whatsoever.
No.
Kris Statlander is in serious danger of losing that title, so Mercedes can hold everything everywhere. And she deserves better than this.
Who won it all in, Jesse? Do you remember who won it all in between Toni Storm and Mercedes?
Toni Storm and Mercedes. That was Toni Storm.
Toni Storm beat Mercedes Moné and handed Mercedes her first loss in AEW.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you a follow-up question, Jesse, and I want you to answer it very carefully.
Sure.
You know, when Brock Lesnar ended the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania 30, Brock Lesnar felt like a fucking absolute unstoppable god. He went on to destroy John Cena in a way that we never seen John Cena handled in the history of his 21-year-plus career. Mercedes was handed. Mercedes is basically an unstoppable force in the AEW women's division. Toni beat Mercedes at All In. When Mercedes lost to Toni, and Toni took that win that she got over Mercedes at All In into All Out against Kris Statlander, did Kris Statlander come off feeling like an unstoppable monster? Did all of that energy that Toni took from Mercedes and beating Mercedes for the first time, was that felt? Was that transfer felt, man? Was that power felt transfer from Toni to Kris Statlander?
I would say no. I would say about as much as, don't forget, Kris Statlander is the one that beat Jade Cargill.
Well, they never did anything with that either.
Nope, they did not.
So Kris Statlander beat the woman who beat Mercedes twice, and Kris Statlander still feels irrelevant. Now, is that Statlander's fault, Jesse? Does all of this fall into the lap of Kris Statlander? Is she to blame for that?
Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. This is all creators' fault. Kris Statlander is nailing any and everything that they're giving her. The problem is they're giving her trash.
The point I'm trying to make is AEW Creative has failed Kris Statlander in a way that I haven't seen anybody in 6 years fail a talent on AEW television. Mercedes has been the most dominant female in the entire women's division's history. Statlander still feels irrelevant. You do all of this to beat Mercedes, and then you give that to Statlander for her to take this into Full Gear to do what? To lose to Mercedes. I don't understand how you make every decision you made makes the Toni Storm win over Mercedes absolutely fucking meaningless. You took a Mercedes and Toni Storm match, which was TBS champion versus world champion, and we discussed this for weeks on end. Which way is it going to go? We can't have one woman holding both championships. That would be ridiculous. What does one do with the TBS championship? So it's certainly going to be vacated. Remember that discussion, Jesse, when we talked about one woman holding both of the top two women's championships in the division, how creatively inept that is. So they went into All In with that hanging over their head. Now they're doing the same thing here again with Statlander. You're making the same mistake you did going into All In, going into Full Gear. And what is the outcome going to be now? Do you know what I see? I see Tony Khan and Mercedes Moné not wanting to beat Toni Storm, and Statlander is unfortunately the fucking woman that's stuck in the middle that's got to take the loss as a transitional champion. We don't give a fuck about Stat, but we can't beat Toni Storm. If Toni Storm held the championship and dropped it to Mercedes, it would have actually been better than giving the belt to Statlander and beating her after a 1-month reign. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah, she's
What's
done
the end goal now? Where do we go?
She's done. There's no coming back from this. The heel turn that they gave her inexplicably just reversed and thrown back away. The tease of her joining the Death Riders, and it looks like we're looking at a transitional champion reign because they're going to put that title on Mercedes as well. This is going to be the nail in the coffin for Kris Statlander. There's nothing left for her to do to excel. They've tried everything and failed at it. There is nowhere else for her to go at this point. They better come up with something extremely interesting and something needs to result in her not losing her title to Mercedes Moné. Otherwise, she's done for.
If Statlander beats Mercedes, what does it actually do? You just make her a double champion only to vanquish and relinquish the title that she just took from Mercedes. So what's the point? What's the point? She has the gold that everybody should want. Number one priority. You're going to give her a fucking secondary title to do what with? Vacate it?
Don't make it title for title. Do not make it title for title.
That's the only way they make it unpredictable. So what happens when she beats Mercedes? Mercedes gets a second loss and she doesn't lose her championship. So what's the point? She gets her win back from the last two matches. What is the point? None of it makes sense.
Yep.
You gave Mercedes 12 belts. So what does she have now? 11? 11 belts. Can you imagine? And Ultimo Dragon's record doesn't mean anything. And nobody knew Ultimo Dragon held this record before they started talking about it. Nobody gives a fuck. You gave this woman 11 belts tonight and had her break Ultimo Dragon's record with a belt that is the interim championship on a brand that is fucking dead. I didn't know that you could kill Ring of Honor any more than it was already dead. What is she going to do with the Ring of Honor television interim championship? Is she going to go wrestle on Ring of Honor television? I had a geek, Jesse, tell me she's going to prop up Ring of Honor. How well did they do that when Jericho held the Ring of Honor World Championship?
Oh, my God. Somebody really said that?
In my comment section on X tonight, yes.
My God, man.
Bro, Mercedes is never, and I mean never, going to wrestle on Ring of Honor television. Are you fucking kidding me? What are we doing here, bro? What are we doing here? So what
this is very poor booking.
So what you did, what they did, Jesse, is give Statlander the unfortunate task of going 0-3 against Mercedes. Mercedes is now back in a position where she's going to have both championships, the same creative mistake that they took into All In. And they're going to do it again because they didn't want to beat Toni, but it's easy to beat Stat. So I don't know what the fuck is going on and what type of politics are being played backstage. Creative control is fucking wild, bro. I tell you that. But this is the kicker, folks. And this is the kicker. Mercedes is going to be the AEW Women's World Champion. She's going to eventually have to drop the TBS title because she's already broken Jade Cargill's record. What the fuck does she need that title for? She's going to vacate it, and she's still going to be undefeated. I think that she vacates the championship after beating Kris Statlander, and I think they put the championship on the line in a Women's Continental Classic this year. That's exactly what I think they're going to do. We're going to get a Men's Continental Classic, and we're going to get a Women's Continental Classic. The Men's Continental Classic is going to be for the Unified Championship, and the Women's Continental Classic is going to be for the TBS Championship. That's exactly what they're going to do. On top of that, and this is something that should anger a lot of people because they blatantly told you without telling you. Jesse, Toni Storm, she lost her rematch against Statlander, and Mina lost her interim championship to Mercedes Moné tonight. Later on in the show, Mina is consoling Toni Storm, and Toni's consoling Mina, and they're both crying, saying that they lost everything tonight. Mm-hmm. Bro, what AEW tried to tell you there without telling you is that Mina, who's a loser, by the way, she's had 4 championship matches and lost every single fucking one of them. She's not to be taken seriously. That's on Tony Khan. So what they tried to tell you, Jesse, is Mina and Toni Storm are going to be the inaugural AEW Women's Tag Team Champions.
Oh, yeah.
So they went from Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné burying an entire division, and now they have these new Women's Tag Team Championships, which were created to give every other woman that Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné buried on the way to All In. They gave these championships to the rest of the division to say, hey, we remember you guys in the fucking dust that they left the division in. None of these women are going to get an opportunity, bro. They're only going to compete in the tournament to put Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa over to win the inaugural Women's Tag Team Championships. So you went from Toni and Mercedes to Toni Storm holding the inaugural AEW Women's Tag Team Champions?
Well, maybe.
I'm just thinking theoretically.
Or maybe not, though, because something else that could happen is they could end up giving the tag team titles to Kris Statlander and Harley Cameron, as a consolation prize for giving her title to fucking Mercedes.
That's also a possibility, but I don't put it past them to say, fuck that. They'll go right to Toni Storm and Mina.
Yeah, that's true too.
So imagine that. Jesse has a point. They could do that because I know they're high on Harley. But imagine AEW taking their championships, putting them on Mercedes and Toni, only to then create these championships for every other woman in the division to only then give one of those championships back to Toni Storm. The reason why these championships were created were to help prop up the other women who weren't getting that type of attention. And you're going right back to the woman that you gave 600 days of attention to. Bro, please tell me this does not happen. I don't know, man. I don't know how you look at that and say, yeah, that's a great decision. Bro, we just sat through 600 days of Toni Storm. Why does she need another championship? Who's to say that she goes on and just actually has a feud with a great story around it and no championship? She's getting to a point, bro, where, and I know you love her and I think she's great too, but she's getting to a point where it is just played out, man. It's not special anymore. It's actually uninteresting to me to see her on television as much as we still do.
I think she's rocking a gimmick that benefits when she's actually enthralled in a feud, like with Mariah May, you know, and when she's not, then she's just doing these random things, and it does get kind of redundant. It does get kind of boring, and we're seeing the results of that right now. And now they're just spinning the wheels trying to figure out what to do with who and where. At the end of the day, you can really tell he does not know where to position Toni Storm, Kris Statlander, and Mercedes Moné on the card. He has no idea, but it should not be this hard. He should just have a number one and have a number two and keep them apart. He's actually doing a good job at keeping them apart until tonight. Let Mercedes run around and do everything that she's doing and keep her away from the top champion and let the top champion do other things with other women. Now you're going to combine this shit. Now it's a complete clusterfuck. I cannot wait to see how they're going to book themselves out of this shit. It's going to be fucking amazing.
Can you imagine Mercedes beating Statlander and holding the AEW Women's Championship on top of everything else that she's won, bro? Can you imagine how awful, and I mean awful, that is going to be, not only for the women's division, but for AEW in general, bro? Can you imagine? I don't know who thinks that this is the storyline that's going to take them to new heights, bro. This is not benefiting a single fucking female outside of Mercedes Moné. And she could sit there and say that she's for women's pro wrestling and she wants to do this and start a revolution. Bro, all of that was bullshit. There's no revolution. She doesn't want to be a part of a revolution. She wants to be a part of the Moné revolution. That's all it was. How is this benefiting anybody?
How is this elevating the women's division?
It's not. Please explain it to me. I'd love to know.
The women's division was in legit in better hands under Britt Baker.
It was.
This is
at
terrible.
least women were getting an opportunity. A lot of women were getting an opportunity.
Yep.
Now you got the best women's division maybe in the United States, and none of them are getting an opportunity. None of them. They've given us 3 months of rematch after rematch after rematch for 8-woman tag team matches that lead to nowhere and no story. So how are these women getting an opportunity on AEW television? I don't know. I don't understand it. I remember
feeling bad. I remember feeling bad for Sasha in the way that she was treated in WWE. I remember feeling bad for her because I knew how she just wanted to elevate the women's division. She just wanted to elevate other women. She just wanted to put on great pro wrestling matches. And I felt bad the way they booked her and treated her and everything else and forced her to walk out and bet on herself. And she did. And now this is where it brought us. And I'm like, my God, I wish she would have stayed in WWE. This is just god awful.
I don't know. We're gonna get into this this pay-per-view tonight. We're gonna try and navigate the best that we can, folks, because it is late. I want to get Jesse in bed in a relatively quick fashion. But we're going to try and go over this show. I'm going to break this stuff down. Only the most important things we're going to break down. We're going to go over winners and losers We're going to go over the John Moxley match. I will save our opinion for the end. We got to give you guys something to wait for, because I know you want our opinion on what we saw there. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Joe and Adam Page, and we'll talk about the rest of this stuff that happened. And the Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate. I got a lot to say on that, too. What a fucking waste of everybody's time, man. It is ridiculous. Yep. But we want to thank you guys very much for joining us here on Off the Script. This is your WrestleDream 2025 post. It is Sunday morning, October 19th, 2025. Follow us on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go follow Jesse as well at Chi-Town Smark on both X and YouTube. Jesse, did you have a good, healthy, fruitful stream tonight for WrestleDream?
I absolutely did. You want to know? I don't think I told you yet, but when I scheduled everything this week and I came on to this channel and on Wednesday and told everybody that I will be live for WrestleDream, come join me. I told my audience, I tweeted it out. I forgot that I was supposed to be at a wedding tonight with my wife. We had plans for this damn wedding for the last 7 to 8 months, bro. The fucking save the date card has been on my refrigerator, and I was supposed to be there. And I didn't realize that till after I made the announcement that the wedding was tonight and the pay-per-view was tonight. And I was gonna bail. I was gonna bail on the stream. I was gonna have to bail on you, but because that I missed last week by being sick, and I didn't want to miss any more time away from my audience or to bail on you, I had to bail on my wife, who is still out at the wedding without me right now, so I can watch this show.
Don't you regret not going and having a good time at whomever's wedding, bro, and you had to stay home and watch WrestleDream?
It was at a mansion, too.
Yeah.
It was at a mansion. Open bar. They're out at the casino right now, her and her cousins and everything else, man.
Yeah, watching Darby drown on WrestleDream tonight in the fish tank, bro. That sounds so much more exciting over there.
Such is my commitment. Such is my commitment. Shout out to Issa. What's going on? I see you, girl.
Is Issa in the chat? Oh, my goodness, man. Look at that. Issa's in the chat. Look at that.
Such is my commitment to you guys and this product, man. I bailed on my wife. So join me in No Nut November and come over and subscribe to the channel.
We love Issa. We love the Demonites.
Absolutely.
Happy to see Issa and Ross in the chat. Thank you, guys. Yeah. So go subscribe to Jesse over there. Go check out all the content. Did the Andrade piece, 2 of them. Go check that out. And please hit that thumbs up. 1,000 likes is the goal. We are 750 likes in, so another 250 will get there. And Super Chats are open. Best way to support what we do here is through the Super Chats. You guys are rocking and rolling already on the Super Chats. Get them on in. I will at least be here. Jesse might not. I will hang out with you guys at the end of the show to read all through your questions, comments, and concerns. I did not watch the tailgate brawl. I was actually sleeping till 7:30, which, I mean, thank God I took a 2-hour nap. I mean, holy shit. We'll quickly go over the winners here if anyone cares. The Conglomeration, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Tomohiro Ishii beat the Death Riders. Actually, who won here? No, the Death Riders beat the Conglomeration. It was Claudio, Pac, Wheeler Yuta, and Danny Garcia. Eddie Kingston and Hook. Eddie Kingston and Hook. Tag team, Jesse, against the Frat House. Cole Carter and Griff Garrison with Jacked Jameson.
Wait, you mean to tell me we saw Griff Garrison twice tonight?
Where was he the second time?
Carrying Mercedes titles. He was one of the boys carrying her titles.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was.
Wow. I don't believe they have Eddie Kingston doing this shit, bro. Do you think Eddie Kingston is like fucking completely zoned out? I mean, this is what Eddie Kingston was out for what, 18 months? And this is what they got the guy doing? Are you kidding me?
He could have easily just slotted him at the top of the card, bro. Easily.
Holy shit.
Especially with the babyface injuries you have right now. Eddie Kingston is just as over as a Swerve Strickland right now. And he's been out for so long, slot him in. You don't have to leave him there. But for the time being, as long as he's been out, as over as he is, you could have slotted him at the top of the goddamn card as a baby face for a few weeks, man. That'd be great.
Bro, imagine having no MJF, no Will Ospreay, no Swerve Strickland, and Kenny Omega is on an absolute fucking strict schedule, and you got Eddie Kingston on the fucking tailgate wrestling the frat house.
My God.
My God, man. Willow, now, actually, before we get into the Willow stuff, Big Boom AJ and Big Justice, they were having a tailgate party in Boca Raton, Florida. They didn't even want to go to St. Louis. So all of a sudden, they started brawling with Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta. Apparently, they'll face AJ in a partner of his choosing because he's not going to allow his son to wrestle. So they brawled, and that match is taking place at the Full Gear pre-show. If anybody cares, I give it a doom. And Willow Nightingale teams with Harley Cameron against Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. God, man, you think Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford are completely over the tag team nonsense that they've been going through for 3 months, bro? You watch Collision, man. It's the same match every week.
Every week. Why is Megan Bayne, if she's such a dominant figure in this division, why is she not a champion at this point? Why does Mercedes have 420 belts and Megan Bayne has 0?
I don't know.
Nothing. Why we're just spinning our wheels with Mercedes and Toni Storm and Kris Statlander, and Megan Bayne is as dominant as she is, but she's not even being thought about to be a champion or in the championship title picture. Why?
I have no idea. An absolute fucking botch creatively is Megan Bayne. Ridiculous. Bro, she'd be the Brock Lesnar of the WWE Women's Division wherever she was right now. Easy. FTR. This caused a couple of fights on social media tonight. FTR, Dax and Cash with Stokely. Tag team match here at the end of the tailgate against Jet Speed, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight. Now, typically, Jesse, when the tailgate ends, it's usually around 7:59. They go to the pay-per-view screen. We get the introduction to whichever pay-per-view, and we get Excalibur saying, "It's Saturday night. You know what that means." Bro, these guys were still wrestling, and then the fireworks were going off, and the tailgate bled into the beginning of WrestleDream for an extra 10 minutes with FTR and Jet Speed. Now, I'll give you the floor here to say what you need to say. What did you think of this, and were you a little confused and a little put off by the fact that this tailgate, this pre-show, bled into the actual show when they should have cut this shit off promptly at 8 p.m.?
I ignored it.
There you go.
I ignored
Jesse
it.
did not care.
I didn't give a shit. I ignored it until he started the pay-per-view. I wasn't there for the start of the match. I also did not watch the pre-show or whatever the fuck it's called. And when the show started and this was still going on, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna finish setting up, talk to my chat, man, and get comfortable and wait for the actual pay-per-view to start. I didn't give a shit.
You know what I look at when I see this chat, and I've seen a couple of people that I'm pretty cool with in the community I don't know what it is with sucking the AEW cock. I don't know what it is. I don't know why everybody latches their fucking wagon to AEW, man. It's almost like it's a crime to speak out against what they do, man. You know what I see when I look at this? I look at a sloppy shop. If I'm a pro wrestling promoter and I put myself in the shoes of someone like Tony Khan or someone like that, I am not taking a pre-show match like this and having it bleed into the top of my pay-per-view. This is a pay-per-view. I paid $40, $50 to watch your pay-per-view. You put on a pre-show with matches that nobody wanted to see and that you thought nobody wanted to see. Alas, they're free. I paid money to watch the shit that you put behind the paywall. I didn't pay money to watch the fucking free shit. If I wanted to watch the free shit, I'd go watch it on YouTube. So I look at this and I say to myself, this guy's got the fucking balls to put on a match that I did everything in my power to actively avoid not watching, and you forced me to watch a match I had no interest in watching when I opened my eyes this morning. Why? That's number one. Number two, sloppy shop. You got fireworks going off with these fucking bums wrestling out there in the ring. How fucking amateur does that look? Do you know what you should really be doing at the top of the pay-per-view? Giving us a great video package on why we should fucking care about this show. Or maybe talk about the opening match and give me a great video package about why the opening match is happening and go right into the opening match. Jamie Hayter and Tekla were tasked with opening the show. That is a big spot in most cases. Yet you gave it to FTR and Jet Speed, who were free! I did everything to actively avoid this shit, and they gave it to me anyway, forcing me to watch it on the fucking show that I paid for. Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope, I ignored that shit, bro.
I unfortunately could not, because I felt like it would be me flushing money down the toilet. What did that match mean? Does it mean anything? FTR should be putting over Jet Speed, and they didn't. Of course they didn't. FTR beat them. Anyway. Start the show. The first thing we see is Charlie Thez, the wife of the great Lou Thez, who was there basically for the one match, and then she was taken out of the building because there's no way that Charlie Thez was going to sit through fucking 4.5 hours of a pay-per-view that went on to 12:30. Her bedtime was probably literally an hour after Tony Schiavone interviewed her. It's the way we start the show. And then we get into the proper pay-per-view. Jamie Hayter versus Tekla, Jesse.
Yeah.
Tekla.
Yeah.
You know who should beat Mercedes for the TBS title, Jesse? Tekla. Calling right now.
No, I agree. That's somebody else. That's somebody else who's been here long enough to be at the top of the card vying for a title. I mean, they got her busy playing shapes with two other women for some reason. You know, the match was good.
Yes, it was. It was a collision match, but it was good.
Yes, the match was so good, man. Tekla is very, very underrated, and she worked very well with Jamie Hayter tonight. But again, this shit is gonna fall under the same category as so many other matches. Sometimes just good wrestling is not good enough. I mean, if you asking people to pay money for a show, then you need to give them something to be invested into. And other than just a good wrestling match, I had no other interest about this match at all.
This match took place on a pay-per-view, okay? Tekla and Jamie Hayter, I don't want to sit here and tell you that they don't deserve a pay-per-view because they very much do, but I wish that they were given a pay-per-view match with some fucking logic and some story behind it. This had none of that. Tekla, when she debuted in AEW, she attacked Jamie Hayter, and the explanation, Jesse, that we got 6 months from the day that she debuted is because Jamie Hayter was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, I think that they recovered for a real Jamie Hayter injury that she suffered at Double or Nothing against Mercedes off of that DDT because it looked ridiculous. So I do think Jamie Hayter was legitimately hurt and gone for a little bit. But Tekla and Jamie Hayter have been embroiled in this thing, and that's the only logic that they came up with. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they've been going back and forth with their friends. Jamie Hayter has her friends, and Tekla has the Triangle of Madness, or whatever the fuck they're called. Julia Hart and Sky Blue, along with Megan Bain and Penelope Ford. So the story itself, though the ladies absolutely deserve a pay-per-view and should, and they should be given proper story to get that pay-per-view match, this was not a pay-per-view match based on the story that you've given us for these two ladies. So this match falls into the category of this should have absolutely been saved for Dynamite, and this would have been a fucking kick-ass match on Dynamite. You have straddled these ladies on Collision and placed these women on Saturday night in front of basically nobody. To put them on your A show would have been such an upgrade for them. They didn't need to go from Collision to pay-per-view. Go from Collision to Dynamite. Why did this need to take up 15 minutes on top of the 10 that we just got with a fucking pre-show match that bled into the top of the hour? Jesse, we almost wasted a half an hour of nothing on this show that could have automatically been us here starting a half an hour earlier or people going home a half an hour earlier.
You know, do we have any women's trios titles?
We do not, unfortunately.
So, but we do have women's tag titles. And we do have women's singles titles.
Tyra in the chat. Oh, JT, you're such a crybaby. Oh my God. It's 2:00 in the morning and you're in my chat with 3,000 people calling me a crybaby. Get the fuck out. Crybaby over what? The crybaby because Jesse and I are totally eviscerating the thing that you love? Get the fuck out. Sorry.
Guys, do we have any fucking mods out? If you have a wrench next to your name, guys, please work, please.
Goodbye.
So we have these 3 women together. We don't have trios titles for the women, but there are tag titles coming. There are singles titles there. Why is Tekla saddled with Sky Blue and Julia Hart? Tekla should be competing for one of the singles titles.
Yes.
And then Sky Blue and Julia Hart can focus on the tag titles. I don't understand why this trio is even happening. It's only holding Tekla back.
We didn't even get an explanation as to why Tekla joins Sky Blue and Julia Hart. What's the reason? I want to poison everybody. It's great. It's great. I'd let Tekla poison me, but I mean that's not an explanation.
Oh yeah. They just need to just sort this shit out. Megan Bain should be up there competing. Tekla should be up there competing. That's already two women who could be world champion outside of your big 3 that you've been focused on for the last few months. That's 2 more women right there alone. That's not even including Jamie Hayter, who could also be up there as well. Why are we only focused on Stat and Mercedes and Toni Storm? Where's Tekla? I mean, we're not going to get into Deonna Purrazzo and why she's not on fucking TV.
Who?
But right. I don't understand why he's only focused on 3 women when he has so many others that can be right up there, right along, making this division open, giving us more feuds, giving us better matches, more matches. I mean, why are we so just restricted to these 3? I'm trying to figure this shit out.
By the way, we love Deonna Purrazzo, and I don't know if she's watching or will watch or whatever, but we love her. We want to see her on television. It's fucking a crime that she's not. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. I mean, this woman was the original belt collector. She was the virtuoso, man, collecting belts, and now she can't even find fucking TV time. I don't understand this place. Why'd they bring her in?
No clue. No clue.
Man, the way TNA's operated, man, she fucking killed to be back there right now.
Yeah. I don't get it, bro. I just don't fucking get it. I mean, you have the talent. You have the talent. You just don't want to use them.
I don't know. Tekla win. Actually, no, Tekla did not win. Jamie Hayter wins here. Jamie Hayter won. She got the Haterade for the win. Again, a physical match. Both ladies really did a good job and went about 12 minutes or so. Post-match, Queen Aminata hit the ring to celebrate with Hayter. Julia Hart and Sky Blue were standing at the top of the ramp with Tekla crawling to them. And I don't know if we're getting a men's and women's blood and guts, but if it is the women's blood and guts this year, obviously Jamie Hayter, Tekla, and Queen Aminata are going to be on the babyface side, and you can automatically envision who's the babyface is going to go up against. It's going to be Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, and the Triangle of Madness here. Tekla, Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. Now, I don't know how that's going to work. I foresee injuries accumulating, bro, in that blood and guts match. But that's one thing they can't really afford nowadays is more injuries. But that's what it's shaping up to be. The whole thing about this was Jamie Hayter wanted blood and guts with Tekla. So we'll see what happens. But I enjoyed this. It did not belong on the show, and it absolutely should have been saved for Dynamite. We got a $100 super chat from my guy, Jay Solstice. Didn't see the pay-per-view, but up working the late shift and enjoying the recap. Jesse missing a wedding for this show is hilarious. Hope your couch is comfortable, my man. Cheers, gents. Appreciate you both.
I will be on said couch, yes. Yes.
Oh, look, we got Dante Lively in the chat. Tony Khan makes more than all of you in an hour. I don't give a fuck what Tony Khan makes. Tony Khan is a clueless hack. He just put on one of the worst pay-per-views of all time. Give me a fucking break, bro. I don't give a fuck what Tony Khan makes. All his money can do him no favors, man. He's still producing some of the worst pro wrestling in the world right now. You know what I did love, Jesse? Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. I thought this was, and I know a lot of people don't like Jungle Jack and the fact that he is a boy and his dinosaur together again, man, and the Young Bucks, and the fact that this match was for $500,000 in Monopoly money. I thought this was great. I don't know what you thought. I thought this was one of the best matches of the night.
Well, I don't care what they think. I expected this to be a great match, and it was. I mean, they've always worked well together. Yeah. People can talk shit about the Bucks all they want. They don't go around putting on bad matches.
They don't.
They don't. I mean, you might not like them for whatever reason. You might not like this or that. You might not like Jack Perry or Luchasaurus, but those two also have chemistry. So the four of these guys together, I expected a great match, and that's exactly what we got. So I highly enjoyed it.
So the Young Bucks had a very creative entrance here. The Bucks came out with a graphic showing that they had spent nearly $500,000 already on frivolous belongings and stuff. Velcro wall, sneakers and obviously dropping all the money at the casino. So no music played for them, and they came out to a soundbite of insufficient funds.
Yeah.
Insufficient funds. So you had like some AI generated where's my thing here? An AI generated voiceover.
Insufficient funds. Insufficient funds.
So that's all you heard until it eventually stopped after about 7 or 8 different times. And they came to the ring, and their nameplate, Jesse, said the $32.17.
So good.
So they came out with only $32.17 left in their bank accounts after winning $500,000 a couple weeks ago.
Back to broke.
So,
the story continues until they get those damn championships, man.
Yeah, so Luchasaurus and Jungle Jack came out there, bro. Were you doing the whoa on stream?
No, I was busy muting that for copyright reasons. No, there was no whoa.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that, yeah. No Baltimore for Jesse on stream, man. He's going to get demonetized again.
Right.
Yeah, we got to avoid that over here. But this was very good. I know a lot of you guys don't like these wild and wacky fucking tag team matches that the Young Bucks put on, but you know, you can make fun of them all you want. They put on exciting matches and people pop for them. So I enjoyed this. And I listen, I got a soft spot. I might not like the whole fact of Jack Perry and CM Punk and that fucking fiasco, but I have a soft spot for Jurassic Express. So I remember when Jesse and I were at the, where were we? I think we were in the Now Arena. And we might have seen we might have seen in the Skybox. Remember that? I think one of the matches it might have been Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks. So, you know, I have a soft spot for that team. So I will always be a fan of them together. And I've been actually pitching it, as has Jesse here on this show, for them to get back together and them being integrated into the tag team division. So I'm glad to see them still as over as they were. I understand that a lot of people want to get that feeling back, and it's just not going to be there as it was back in 2020, but I have a soft spot for them.
The tag division has slowly, right under our noses, gotten to a point where if they focused on it, would be the best thing on their programming right now.
Bro, the 2-on-2 tag team matches, I was saying this to myself. It's funny you said that. I think the 2-on-2 tag team matches have been the best thing about AEW television, especially being led by Brodido, who are having great matches right now. If they actually consolidated their division and really focused on it, they'd have the best division in the United States.
They absolutely would, man. There's no reason why they want. Hurt Syndicate, Jurassic Express, you got the Bucks, bro. You got Brodido. I mean, they have so many, and that's just the tip of the Gun Club is also fucking in. They have so much going on with the tag team division, but they're not focused on it.
Yeah.
The tag team titles are not the not at the front of anything creatively, and it should be, and it could be. They just have to focus on it, and they're not.
Yeah, they slowly have kind of resurrected their tag team division right underneath our noses, man. It's nice to see.
Yep.
I just, like Jesse said, and like I said, I just wish they'd focus on really kind of spotlighting that, because when the Bucks came out on year one and said that this company is going to be built on tag team wrestling, that it was, and it was the focus of the show. I wish they get back to that, because it's truly the best stuff that they are producing right now.
Yep.
So the Bucks, they take over here around the 10-minute mark. This match went 23 minutes. They still over Perry, struck their big pose in the middle of the ring. Crowd popped. So we get Luchasaurus. He's got Matt Jackson on his shoulders. Nick had Perry on his shoulders. They exchanged strikes in this little comedy skit that they were doing. Matt landed a blockbuster on Luchasaurus, and then Nick landed a pile driver on Perry on the ring apron. So Matt powerbombed Perry on the ring apron following that, and then they landed a package pile driver top rope stomp combo on Jack for a near fall. Matt starts yelling at Jack, "After everything we've done for you." And then they set up the BTE trigger. Perry ducked, went for a double DDT. Bucks blocked it, hit double knees. Luchasaurus broke up the pin to stop the count. Perry caught both Bucks with Hurricane Ranas, and then Luchasaurus landed a standing shooting star press on Matt, which always looks great. Perry then gave Matt a top rope doomsday device off of Luchasaurus' shoulders for a very close 3 count. A minute later, Perry delivered a stuffed tombstone pile driver, with Luchasaurus scoring another near fall, and Nick broke up the cover. So then Matt super kicked Perry. The Bucks then stereo super kicked Luchasaurus. He no-sold it. Perry then leapt off the top rope at the Bucks. They stereo super kicked him and landed the BTE trigger for a very close near fall around the 21-minute mark. Luchasaurus broke up the Bucks, and then he had Perry deliver the countdown to extinction, and Jack has now added the 3, 2, 1, and then the flip, and then the move, and that was it. The Jurassic Express win in 23 minutes with the countdown to extinction. I love that finish. I think it's very good, very impactful, especially as a tag team finish. I think it looks great. They win, and they now have the $500,000, Jesse. So after the match was over, the referee presented Jurassic Express with the bag of cash. Afterwards, Perry and Luchasaurus stood in front of the Bucks and seemed to be offering some sort of truce, some reconciliation here. All of a sudden, we see the Don Callis family, Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, and Mark Davis, attacking Jurassic Express from behind. The Bucks then walked away. Kenny Omega's music played. He was in the building, and he was there, and he wasn't booked for the show against Kyle Fletcher, who he should have wrestled tonight, but what the fuck do we know? So he walked out, and he stared at the Bucks, who were walking away from Jack Perry getting beat up. He's like, "What are you doing? Go and save him. Go and help him." They didn't. He blew past them. He gets into the ring, and he went after Davis, Alexander, and Lance Archer all on his own. Perry and Luchasaurus recovered. They helped out Kenny Omega. They all cleared the ring of the Don Callis family, and that was basically it. Omega raised the arms of Luchasaurus and Perry in the middle of the ring, and looks like Kenny Omega has now began to trust Jack Perry once again. How'd you feel about this, bro?
Oh, that's a great little story that they're working on right there with
no reason
Jack
why
Perry.
this is happening yet, but sure.
Yeah, I mean that I am following the story of Kenny not trusting Jack and Jack trying to prove himself. But why did the Don Callis family come out? Why?
I will tell you why. Do you want to know why?
Why? Why?
Because the men's blood and guts this year is going to be Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Jurassic Express against the Don Callis family. Everybody's going to get back on the same page after all year, bro, putting Kenny Omega out and defaming him and giving him cakes with blood-filled intestines and taking advantage of his diverticulitis. No explanation why any of them are getting back together, but they're going to be in blood and guts together to fight the Don Callis family inside the dreaded double ring steel cage, bro. That's why.
Well, they're working on getting them back together. It's not like, hey, I'm good now, and Kenny's like, oh, okay. No, they're working on that. He has trust issues. He's still pissed about that. That's fine. But why? You just threw the Don Callis family out there. Why? Well, because we want to feed them at blood and guts. What is their interest in coming out there for this point tonight? Why? Why?
I don't know. You know, another week, another show, bro, where Kenny Omega and Kyle Fletcher were in the same building on the same show, and none of them have said a fucking word about each other. It's almost as if Kenny Omega enjoyed going through that table. Remember that, bro?
Yep.
But you know what they'll
and
do,
look-
bro? You know what they'll do? They'll save it for Blood and Guts because then it'll matter 2 months after it happened. That's when they'll do it.
That's all we ever really want is the why. Like, why is this shit happening? You know, there are some issues between Perry and Omega, and they're addressing that. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, you know, I just want to put the past behind us. And Kenny's like, fuck you, I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and they're slowly mending that bridge, which is fine. And it looks like they're slowly trying to turn the Bucks back to babyface. I hope not. But it looks like they're heading down that way because they're gonna all get back together and be a happy big fucking elite family again. Sure, but I just want some explanations as to why this stuff is happening.
Yes, they're allergic to dialogue on television, bro. They haven't explained anything.
If the Bucks are gonna all of a sudden, come back and join these guys and help, I just want to know why. I need some whys here. I don't know why the Don Callis family came out all of a sudden at the end of this match to interfere. I have no idea why. Josh Alexander run down there getting involved in this shit. Josh Alexander was a main eventer, man.
He was a world champion at TNA.
He's a world fucking champion.
Now he's a world-class jobber in the Don Callis family.
He's a part of the Peon crew. He's a part of the fucking B crew of the Don Callis family.
You know who's not in that Peon crew, Jesse? Andrade is not in that Peon crew.
I don't think Andrade's coming out tonight.
Yeah. Andrade was in Puerto Rico, though, bro. He couldn't wrestle. He was not allowed to wrestle tonight.
Yeah, you gotta sit your ass at home. You can't wrestle if you don't wrestle for us.
Ridiculous. We talked about that. Jesse made a video on it. I made 2 videos on it. You guys want our opinions on it? You know where to find it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's going to be the men's Blood and Guts match. I do think we're getting 2 Blood and Guts matches this year. It's going to be one big 2.5 hour Dynamite. You know, that's what they're doing. So that's where I feel it is all going. Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP against The Demand, Ricochet, and the Gates of Agony. Jesse, it was at All Out where we got this 6-man tag team match taking place where The Demand got the big victory. Then it was their homecoming show in Daly's Place where they did the same match, but it was a street fight inside Daly's Place. The Hurt Syndicate won and got their win back over The Demand because they lost it All Out. Then we come to tonight's show, WrestleDream, and we get the same match that we got the last 2 times all over again. My question to you, bro, and I really want to use your brain cells for this one. Why did they do the street fight at Daly's Place and have the Hurt Syndicate win, only to then go and do the street fight again here on WrestleDream, but call it something different, but the same rules applied with the same outcome that we got in Daly's Place during the homecoming show, bro? Can you explain what the thought process was behind all of this and why this match took place tonight?
Okay, so let's rearrange the question. So if we got the same match twice, one of them didn't need to be. So which match should never have happened? let's do this one.
All right, now, I like that rearrange.
Now, since the other one happened on TV and we got the outcome that we got, great. And now since we have a pay-per-view with 9 goddamn matches and it's too long, it's going too late, I think we can kind of figure out which match did not need to fucking happen.
Ding, 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 ding. We got this match tonight that didn't need to happen at all.
No. Also, while watching this match, I'm trying to figure out why I just give 0 fucks about it. I figured it out. And this might be hurtful to a couple of people involved in this match. The Hurt Syndicate. Look, I'm just here to keep it a buck, man. The Hurt Syndicate, I enjoy. I enjoy all 3 men. I enjoy everything they bring to the table. Ricochet, guy's a bag of D, but I enjoy his work. Okay. I enjoy Ricochet's heel run here in AEW. Then there's the Gates of Agony. Okay. I cannot bring myself to find any interest in the Gates of Agony.
We don't know who they are, Jesse.
No, we do not, man. We do not. All I know is that, can they wrestle? Yes. The guys can fucking wrestle. They look great. The guys can wrestle. And I understand. I'll even go this far. I understand the pairing with Ricochet. I understand giving them somewhat of a mouthpiece, which is odd to say because Ricochet has never been known to be a mouthpiece. But again, with this heel run in AEW, his mic work has been tremendously better from what we're used to in the past with Ricochet. Okay, but he's not good enough to get me to care about the Gates of Agony. Okay?
No,
not at all. I mean, and you put them in these feuds, and it's just like I can't even distinguish which one is which. They have no personality. I just don't care about them. I don't think it's something that they can get me to care about them. Maybe a different manager, maybe something like that. I'm not sure, but I'm convinced that the Gates of Agony is the reason why I'm not giving a shit about anything with the Demand, and they're bringing down Ricochet. This is much like, and I talked to you about this before with Swerve, when they had Swerve with Parker Boudreaux and Tretch, and they were trying to elevate this crew and elevate Swerve, and I did not like it. I couldn't stand it. And as a matter of fact, Swerve got very upset with me for not liking it. I'm just being real.
and neither guys in the fucking company.
And now neither guys in the company. And they pulled him away from them. And then he fucking shot up the card and became a fucking world champion and one of the best guys they have on this fucking on this roster. After they got him away from the guys that I originally said that he did not need to be with.
Bro, imagine blocking somebody like you, man, because you didn't like Trench on AEW television.
I mean, what the fuck? What the fuck? He proved me right.
It's a miracle Jesse remembered the guy's fucking name, bro, after all this time. Trench.
Trench got mad at, and trust me, I know he got mad at me because he fucking told me, okay? So I know he got mad at me for not liking his crew. But nonetheless, here we are again with Ricochet. I think the same thing is happening with Ricochet. These two guys are not helping elevate Ricochet. They're actually holding him down. Ricochet should be a little bit farther up the card than where he is right now.
Bro, the problem here is AEW creative. Yes, I agree with your assessment on Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. Ricochet, no matter how much of a dick he is, he was allowed to be himself, and then we all realized that we don't like the person he is, and it really is hurting his character on air, honestly, in my honest opinion. The Gates of Agony, Toa Leona is whatever. I'm not really a fan of Toa Leona. I'm more of a fan of Bishop Khan. I think he looks the part. I think he's the money guy in that group, if we're going to really talk about the Demand. But the creative, or if you even want to call them creative, for AEW, they have dropped the ball so tremendously on the Demand. They beat the Hurt Syndicate at All Out to then get a tag team title match against Brodido, which they lost. They got a rematch against the Hurt Syndicate, which they lost. And then they lost here. So I don't know how anybody else is looking at this. I think this is the most, or at least one of the most counterproductive, creative decisions that AEW has done all year. You should have been in a position to build the Demand up as the next up-and-coming trio and get these guys over to a point where we take them seriously. And all you did was prove Sean Ross Sapp's report about the Hurt Syndicate not wanting to put anybody over by putting the Demand in front of them, and they did no favors for the Demand, and this feud did no favors for the Hurt Syndicate. So what exactly did we accomplish here? The Hurt Syndicate are no better off. They're actually worse for it, and the Demand are buried. So what exactly did we accomplish here? They're losers. 3 losers, Jesse.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes, Trench is his name. Yes, Jesse's not kidding.
They didn't win. They don't win. I don't care to see them win, to be honest with you. I don't want to see them win and get pushed. I am not a fan of the Gates of Agony at all. I'm gonna be I can't tell the two apart at all. At all. They are one and the same to me. Ricochet is the money in that group, and I think they're holding him back. I think they could be doing other things with him.
Shelton did a dive over the top rope here, and everybody was losing their minds. Oh my God, he's 50 years old, and he's like he's 30 on social media. Like they're trying to avoid everything that is so terrible about the decision that the Demand is losing this match, that they're trying to hang on to one thing in this match that everybody can get excited about. Like we don't know what Shelton Benjamin's capable of. Are you kidding me? The Demand are buried. Why is nobody talking about creative dropping the ball on three guys that they paired together to make more important and for Ricochet's character, I guess, to be enhanced, and none of them are enhanced? Now, but let's talk about Shelton Benjamin and the fact that he could still do what most 20-year-olds can do at 50. Like, nobody knew that already.
That guy's a fucking freak, man.
Fucking ridiculous. The Hart Syndicate wins at 13 minutes. What a complete waste of fucking time. Another match that can get thrown into the trash bin. Don't know why it didn't happen on Collision. Never mind fucking Dynamite. We saw it last week or 2 weeks ago at Daly's Place. Why did we need to see this again? I don't know. 13 minutes, Hart Syndicate wins. Kyle Fletcher. He defended the TNT Championship against another loser, Mark Briscoe. Jesse, this went 25 minutes.
It's too long.
25 minutes, bro, for the TNT Championship. A match that they were bragging was the fifth match between these guys, which I guess two of them happened in the Continental Classic or whatever the case, and the other two happened on Collision. 25 minutes, bro.
It's too long. The match was just fine at 25 minutes. It actually would have been a great match at 15.
Yes.
It was just too long. It went way too long.
We'll pick it up halfway through here. I'm not even going to go over all of it. So Fletcher is on the outside here. Briscoe landed a leaping elbow drop. Fletcher fell to ringside. Briscoe then landed an elbow at ringside. He threw Fletcher back into the ring. He landed another frog elbow, so 3 elbow drops. He then set up a J Driller. Fletcher countered with a roll-up. Briscoe scored a 2 count with a backslide. Fletcher countered with a jackknife cover for a 2. Briscoe then landed an exploder. He then went for the J Driller. Fletcher blocked it, suplexed Briscoe onto the back of his head and neck. Briscoe no-sold it. He popped right up and hit a J Driller for a near fall. So Fletcher, the way he stopped the count is that he draped his finger on the rope to interrupt the count. Fletcher shoved Briscoe into the ref and then kicked Briscoe between the legs with the referee not looking. So Briscoe eventually kicked out, and the commentary team was buying into the near falls. The crowd was buying into the near falls. Briscoe is alive. Fletcher landed a running knee to Briscoe's jaw for a 2 count. He then followed up with a running lawn dart to the middle turnbuckle and then a quick top turnbuckle brainbuster for the 1, 2, 3. Now, I know after everything we've seen so far up until this point, it's easy to pinpoint that this was the best match of the show so far, but it took us an hour and a half to get through 3 fucking matches. Like Jesse said, this could have been maxed out at, I would say, anywhere between 14 to 18 minutes. Easy. This did not need to go 25 for the TNT Championship. They didn't really have any story coming into this at all. It was only, Mark Briscoe beat MJF. He should have been the one to challenge Adam Page. And then Kenny Omega was actually the one to wrestle Kyle Fletcher. And then they flipped roles here. And Briscoe went after the TNT Championship. MJF, who Briscoe beat it all out, took a sabbatical. And Adam Page is wrestling Samoa Joe. So they put Mark Briscoe in a situation against the young guy, Kyle Fletcher, with the TNT title on the line. They put him, Jesse, in a position where he was never going to win the championship. So if that was the case, why didn't he get a deserved match against Adam Page for the World Championship? This is what we've been discussing on the weekly streams on Wednesday. So I don't really understand any of this. It was just the same outcome with him being a loser again.
Correct. They could have just kept Fletcher focused on the TNT title defense, kept him away from the world title until it was his time to get elevated up to the world title scene. Now he already has that L on his record. Now he's right back down to the TNT title, and now he's back down to a feud with Mark Briscoe again. These guys work well together, actually. Mark Briscoe is very over.
He's great.
And he's so good. And Kyle Fletcher is such a dick. So that dynamic alone works for this feud, and they can both go. So I will never find one of these matches to be bad. I mean, they're always going to be good. This one just went on way too goddamn long on a show where it didn't need to be. This match didn't need to be on the show.
No, if this took place on Dynamite Wednesday, this could have been the co-main event next to Okada and Bandito. That's what it could have been. I don't know why we didn't do that.
It did need to be. I feel like that they feel like they have to just pad the shows with a bunch of matches to justify charging people, and it doesn't check out to me. You know, you don't have to have more to make it. I mean, all you gotta do is make it interesting.
Bro, you are exactly correct. That's one half of it. The other half of it is they go 25 minutes and they go way longer than they need to overcompensate for the lack of story coming in. There was no story here, so they feel like, yeah, we'll go 25, 30 minutes and the story don't matter because it's a great wrestling match. Yeah. But they don't understand what we've been discussing every fucking week for the last several years. The better the story, the better the match.
Yep.
25-minute match garners what? 3.5, 4 stars maybe? If you give me a fucking story and then you give me the match we got tonight, it might be a 5-star match. Just saying.
You don't have to work as hard in the ring if the story is there.
No. After the match, Willow, Ishii, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy came out to help Briscoe, who once again takes an L. Statlander and Toni Storm, AEW Women's Championship match. The crowd was very silent for a good portion of this, at least 75% of this. Now, they were a little lively during the TNT title match with Fletcher and Briscoe, and it was a little jarring to know that Toni Storm is out there with Statlander, and the crowd was pretty quiet. So we'll pick it up here halfway through. They also went 16 minutes. So Storm scored a near fall here when she came back with a chicken wing. She had a chicken wing. Stat broke out of the hold by reaching the bottom rope. Storm scored a near fall on a small package. Statlander landed a Michinoku driver for what looked to be a 3 count, but the referee only counted 2. Storm was late kicking out, so it might have been a botch. So they get up together. They start exchanging strikes. Statlander set up for Saturday Night Fever. Storm powered Stat headfirst into the turnbuckle and landed a big running hip attack. The sweet chic music. Statlander blocked a Storm Zero. She then climbed to the top rope and leapt off the top rope with a Area 451 splash for a very close 3 count. Statlander then landed a Saturday Night Fever and then applied a submission head scissors. And Toni was in the middle of the ring trapped in this head scissor. Storm seemed to be fading. She started doing the shaking of the arm and she tried to feed off the St. Louis crowd. Then she waved her hand in the air to show some signal of life as she was beginning to fade. Statlander then lifted Storm and landed another Saturday Night Fever after Toni said, bring it, give me what you got. And she landed Saturday Night Fever, which looked awful, by the way. I don't know if the move is supposed to look that way or if it's supposed to be a tombstone. But whatever modified tombstone it is, it does not look good. I wish she would just end the match with the Area 451 because she does it so good. But after that struggle in the submission hold, she got up and hit Saturday Night Fever, Jesse, and then 16 minutes later, she retained the Women's Championship and beat Toni Storm, who she beat at the last pay-per-view at All Out in that Fatal 4-Way. She beats Toni clean here tonight.
Yeah, it was a tombstone. It was a tombstone position, and then she would go around the legs and then just go straight down.
Yeah.
For some reason, she just kind of went flat down with it. It was kind of weird. But the Saturday Night Fever is more of a tombstone with her legs apart that way, and she goes straight into the pin. But this match was good. I actually enjoyed the match. It didn't go too long. And like you said, the crowd was not into it for a little bit, but that was not their fault. It was just a spot, the position of this match itself. But in a vacuum by itself, if you look at it, and everything else, I mean, there's a title on the line. It was good. They have great chemistry. I enjoyed the match. I actually have no complaints about this match at all.
No, I will say about Statlander, though, the jarring silence for the first 75% of this match up until the last 5 minutes, which were fine. They started getting back into it. AEW, they made a critical error here with Stat. She went into this Fatal 4-Way at All Out and pinned Toni Storm, and they failed to generate a story with Stat, who has been largely there since day one and is one of the more popular females in the entire division across 6 years of AEW television. They failed to tell a story on her ascending to her first major women's world championship. And she did that by pinning Toni Storm in a Fatal 4-Way at All Out. There was no story going into it. They didn't give this woman any mic time. They didn't give this woman any celebration of any sorts. Jesse, the fans, though they may like what Stat brings to the table, Stat is not getting that emotion out of the audience. We're not emotionally connecting with Statlander because we don't know exactly what her intentions are. We don't know what she's thinking. We don't know how she's feeling. We don't know what she was thinking and feeling coming out of that major title win, which was the first world championship of her career with AEW. We need more. We need to hear from her, man. We need to really have her show us that emotion so that we, the audience, could connect with her. And AEW has failed to bring that out of her.
You want to know why? Because it has become clear that AEW does not know what to do with her. I mean, again, I'm going to bring this shit up, until I fucking get sick. But you can't flip-flop someone from heel to babyface like this with no explanation. This is the result. We have this confusion. Like you just said, she's not connecting with the crowd. Why? Because you don't know what you're doing with her. You turned her heel, then back to babyface. And then for about 5 or 6 weeks, you teased her turning heel again by joining the Death Riders. And then that didn't happen. And all of a sudden, she's just hanging out with Harley Cameron and being back to a comedy stick again. You have to get this under control. For instance, Megan Bain, okay? You're not booking her the right way either, but we know where Megan Bain is coming from. She's going to come into a match and fucking dominate and just going to just be aggressive. She's going to be a huge figure, and she's going to wrestle the same style. We don't know what we're getting with Kris Statlander. Is she happy? Is she angry? Is she heel? Is she not? Is she the best? Is she not the best? We don't know because creative keeps failing to get us to connect with her. That is the problem. You nailed it right there. That is the problem, is that they don't know what they want to do with her. So how can we get behind that?
I don't know. I don't know why they rushed to give her the championship and not tell that story. You only get one of them, and now they just wasted it. And then you didn't follow up with her winning the championship to give us the raw emotion that this woman was feeling when winning the biggest prize in your women's division. What did you do to help Statlander? You put her in a position to be world champion, to drop it to the one woman who we all know is going to win the championship. You're going to give Mercedes everything that we're saying to give to Stat. So what exactly is Stat going to do with the championship that's going to make her better off for it? What? Nothing. You've done nothing to enhance Statlander. She beat Toni Storm. That's fantastic. It's great. What does that mean now? What does that mean? It means nothing. Speaking of meaning nothing, I don't know why Mercedes needed to be on this show tonight. She wrestled Persephone in Mexico. She takes a flight to St. Louis so that we get an open challenge. And at that show in Mexico last night, she challenged any current champion across any brand to come and wrestle her in an open challenge. That left a very small pool of people. Some including Nyla Rose. We had a couple of indie women. And Giselle Shaw was another one from Maple Leaf Pro. She's their women's champion. And that was it. There was nobody, Mina. And that was it. So we went with the one that Toni could easily beat here because he employs her, and it's a nothing title just to get Mercedes the record. But I don't know why this match needed to happen. This could have easily been saved for Collision or Dynamite. We didn't need Mercedes on this show. She sold no extra tickets. She garnered no extra interest. And nobody was watching this show for Mercedes money. Zero. So I don't know why this took place. Secondly, Mina is a loser. I think Mina's great. I think Mina's got a very bubbly and very personal, a great personality. She's very personable. Why is she put in a situation when we actually want to see her? Why is she put in a situation as a fan favorite, Jesse, to lose and lose and lose and lose and be presented as a loser? So the more you see someone lose, doesn't that, as a viewer, just kind of signal, you know what, the company thinks she's a loser, I'm not going to care about her, and then on to the next? What type of booking is this for Mina, bro? 4 championship matches, and she's lost all 4 of them.
I don't think he gets the fact that the baby faces are predominantly supposed to have the winning records. The baby faces are actually supposed to win more matches. Do you have some heels that are like the heels that like to win without cheating? Sure, you have plenty of those. You got your I say your Kyle Fletchers, all right, dominant heels, okay. But for the most part, your baby faces, they garner that respect and that trust from the audience by going out there and beating up the bad guys. Now, do they lose from time to time? Sure, everybody has to lose from time to time. But your baby faces are supposed to come off as winners. Your Minas, your Willows. Willow is so goddamn likable. It's fucking crazy, man. She is so likable. She connects with the crowd through her personality. She goes out there and she's not a soft baby face. Willow go out there and kick your ass. That's why she is so fucking likable. Mina needs to win more. She just needs, she needs to, she has the bubbly personality, but when the bell rings, she needs to be a little bit more serious. Much like a Willow.
So after the Statlander and Toni Storm match, Mercedes walked out with Stat in the ring, just freshly beating Toni Storm. She walks out with 3 shirtless male dancers who were, like Jesse said earlier, Griff Garrison was one of them, Cole Carter was the other, and Jacked Jameson. So basically the frat house who wrestled Eddie Kingston and Hook came out holding all of Mercedes' belts. Yep. So Mercedes entered the ring and congratulated Statlander on her win and then told her to get the hell out of my ring. So the frat house is mocking Stat, and she walks up the aisleway all dejected, tucking her tail in between her legs and walking off because she was told to do so. Jesse, I texted you, and I knew we would talk about this on tonight's show, and we talked about it in the beginning, so we won't waste too much time on it because we already discussed it, but you couldn't give Statlander, who beat the most over female in your company, the biggest female star in the company, Statlander just beat clean. You couldn't give her that one moment. On top of AEW already not giving her a celebration or building a story to her first championship run and her first major championship, they couldn't have the decency to give this woman just the spotlight after beating Toni Storm, which has been a rarity over 600 days, to have Mercedes come out and basically shoo her away, belittling not only Kris Statlander, but the fucking AEW Women's Championship. What the fuck were they thinking, and why couldn't this wait till Wednesday?
Yeah, that move alone was deserving of an instant ass whooping.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm the champion. I just won. You are interrupting my time and tell me to get out of your ring. I would instantly slap this shit out of you before I left that ring. And sometimes that is just the thing that needs to be done. I know she came back out later to get some of that heat back, but at the same time, you're not going to tell a champion to get the hell out of my ring. And no. My match is over, so I'm going to leave. But before I do, I'm going to smack the shit out of you, and then I'm going to fucking leave. You don't treat Kris Statlander like that. You don't treat the world champion like that. Again, I understand she came back out and got her heat back later, but in that moment, her walking away, she looked like a goddamn wuss, man. Not a good look.
This match went 16 minutes. She called herself Ultimo Monet, and she's the longest reigning TBS champion of all time now. She says she's the greatest TBS champion ever. She trademarked Ultimo Monet. This match went 16 minutes. She beats Mina, who came in wearing the Ring of Honor Interim Television Championship. She's the women's television champion. I believe Red Velvet was the champion who has not returned to television yet. So now Mercedes holds a belt that she will probably never defend. 16 minutes. Yeah.
Does Ring of Honor have a TV deal?
Ring of Honor does not have a TV deal.
Okay. So why do they have a women's television champion?
Because Tony loves creating belts, and he feels like the more belts, everybody is more successful.
Right on. Okay.
There you go.
Proceed. 16
minutes. Mercedes wins with the, what did she win? She won with the, what's her move called? The, it's not the bank statement. What is it called? Statement maker? The statement maker. Yeah, there you go. Statement maker. Some statement, huh? Can't even remember the fucking name of the move because it's always fucking terrible. It's executed horribly. I wish she'd go back to the fucking bank statement, to be honest with you. Mercedes celebrated after she beat Mina. Statlander returns to the ring, because she wanted to get her revenge on Mercedes, treating her like shit. So she slammed Mercedes to the mat. Mercedes rolled to ringside and retreated up the ramp, with Statlander getting at least a little bit of revenge for what she did earlier before she wrestled Mina. Not enough, though. Should have never happened. If you wanted a face-to-face with them on anywhere, it should have been Wednesday.
Yeah, you want to know what I would have did? I would have had Statlander come out, interfere at the end of this match, just to beat the shit out of Mercedes, cause a DQ, and Mercedes does not get another fucking title.
There you go.
And that's why she's pissed, because she cost her a title. So now, since I can't take Mina's title, now I want to come and take yours.
I don't know why this was not discussed. I mean, that would have saved everybody. It would have made Mina look good. It would have protected Mina. Mercedes wouldn't have another fucking belt that she's not going to care about or defend. And we make Statlander look good and look angry.
Simple.
What happens? Why do we book this show better than the people that run the company? I don't understand it.
It would have been fine. Yes, it would have been a DQ on a pay-per-view, but guess what? The match wasn't even fucking advertised. All right. The match didn't even need to fucking happen. You could have made them short. You could have made it like a 10-minute fucking match. Boom. Kris Statlander comes out and just knocks her the fuck out.
It's called creative control, bro. Yes, and she trademarked Ultimo Money. Yes, I'm not kidding about that. She trademarked Ultimo Money for merchandise reasons and wrestling-related reasons, yes. So there you go. So we'll see what happens there. The match was already made because they had the backstage segment with Mercedes being angry that Stat showed her up and stole her moment. Meanwhile, Mercedes is delusional, and she took that moment away from Stat after beating Toni Storm. So they already announced that Full Gear. It will be Mercedes challenging Stat only for the AEW Women's Championship. The TBS title will not be on the line. If you want my rant earlier in the show and you want Jesse's explanation on to why this is terrible creative, you can go back to the first 30 minutes of this show. We discuss it all there.
Yep.
Brodido. They defended the tag team titles against Konosuke, Takeshita, and Kazuchika Okada. Now, the reason why this match took place is because there was a double eliminator on Wednesday's Dynamite, and the Don Callis family here in Takeshita and Okada beat Brodido to get this match at tonight's WrestleDream. Now, if Brodido had won, one of them would have wrestled Okada for the Unified Championship. So the double eliminator went in favor of the Don Callis family here. Now, to me, Jesse, this was the match of the night. I thought this was fantastic. Tag team wrestling we talked about earlier has been really, really good in AEW. And if they want to put a division together and focus on the division and give us some nice rotating tag team matches every week and really make that competition for the tag team championships worth something, they got a nice core nucleus of teams now. And Brodido's really kind of kicked up the division in ways that last year we were not seeing. Bro, this went 27 minutes. I don't know why this needed to go 27 minutes. Like you said about Fletcher and Briscoe, that went 25. If this went 18, it would have been so much more impactful, bro. And I mean, by the time we got to that point in the match, I was like, holy shit. I asked myself, this match is still going? 27 minutes.
My God.
What are we doing?
Too long. What? You don't need a half hour to tell this story. You don't. You don't. You're just trying to just stretch this card out. It is so blatantly obvious with this open challenge and the length of this Fletcher Briscoe match and the length of this match. You are just trying to stretch this card out to justify it being a pay-per-view. That is not how it works. The card being longer does not make it pay-per-view worthy. The card being good is what makes it pay-per-view worthy. And these matches being this long does not make the card good.
Bro, if this match was consolidated to 6 matches and this was one of the 6 matches, this would have been a banger show.
Yep. Like I said, take this show, condense this shit down to 2.5 hours or so, put it on TV. Great fucking show. Great show.
Listen, Brodido has been fucking kicking ass, man. I think they're a great duo. We love Brody. You know, Brody has been one of our favorites. They got a monster ready for a world championship run right there hopefully when, not if they want to put him in that position. Bandito, they say he's maybe wrestler of the year in AEW. I would not even argue that. I think Bandito is the best lucha in all pro wrestling, period. So them as a tag team have worked out incredibly well. What that means for Buddy Matthews when he comes back, I have no fucking idea. But Takeshita, he won the IWGP World Championship. Okada, he's an acquired taste. You either like him or you don't. And I think they worked well as a team. And obviously the story here is, can they coexist? There's a competitive aspect there where Okada thinks he's better than Takeshita. Now Takeshita's the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Okada's going to look at him a little funny, and he's jealous. There's a competitive element there. So clearly you see where they're going with this, and there's going to be some tension in the Don Callis family that more than likely is going to play out moving on into either Full Gear, or I think they see all of this play out in the Continental Classic, and we end up with getting Takeshita and Okada in the finals of the Continental Classic if they really want to tell that story. So 27 minutes, great match. We'll pick it up at the end here. I'm not going to go over all this. So Takeshita was in the corner. Okada tagged himself in because he's jealous of Takeshita. So Takeshita gave him a nasty look. Callis defended Okada. Brody took over against Okada, and then Bandito joined in, and they chopped Okada together back and forth. Brody put Takeshita on his shoulders for a top rope move by Bandito, but Takeshita escaped and delivered a spike pile driver on Brody. He then flung Brody backwards in a suplex. Brody no-sold it, popped up. Okada leapt at Bandito off the top rope. Brody back suplexed all three guys as they were all holding on to each other. It looked like a fucking three-ring circus out there. And he dropped down on his back flat due to lifting up three guys. So Takeshita and Okada double-team Bandito. They go to Okada, mistakenly hitting Takeshita with the Rainmaker. Okada seemed to do it on purpose because he started laughing. Takeshita rolled out of the ring. It seemed like Okada was waiting to do that all match, but he might have cost himself the tag team championship. Bandito then recovered. He went after Okada. Okada went for a Rainmaker after blocking Bandito's finisher, which is the 21-plex. Brody then went after Okada, and he dove through the ropes, rather, at Takeshita, and then Bandito landed the 21-plex on Okada, and believe it or not, Bandito pinned Okada in this match to retain the tag team championships. I could not believe Okada got pinned. You don't really see that happen. So,
no, but this is the corner that they booked themselves into.
Yeah.
Either Okada was getting pinned, or the new IWGP champion was getting pinned.
Yes.
Or we were having new tag team champions.
Yes.
One of those three was going to happen.
Yes. So they took the Okada getting pinned here, which was honestly, a nice shock. A little unpredictable, which you don't see a lot on this show at all. So Bandito pinned Okada. They retained the tag team championships. 27 minutes did not need to be. Anywhere 15 to 18 minutes tops. Bandito gets a shot at the unified title now on Dynamite against Okada, being that he pinned the champion here on the pay-per-view. So they got that happening on Wednesday's Dynamite, which more than likely will be the main event. And I thought this was easily the best match of the night. Didn't need to go 27 minutes, but still match of the night.
Yeah, and the hilarious part is Kazuchika Okada is still phoning this shit in.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's his body language, bro. He just comes off as if he doesn't even want to be there.
One of the things I was concerned about when he signed with AEW and him getting over was his his communication, his charisma. Would it translate here in the States? And I'll give him this much. His charisma has been great. He's been hilarious. It's been fantastic. From a character standpoint since he's been here, especially since he turned heel. But it's in-ring work, man. I know he can do better than this. I know this man can do better than this. He is straight up phoning this shit in. I don't know if he's just on cruise control for the rest of his career. I don't know if he's just saving it for something that he actually gives a shit about. Maybe when the match with Takeshita eventually happens, maybe we'll get the real Okada at that point. Maybe Takeshita will bring it out of him because Takeshita does not phone in shit. So maybe we'll get it then. But for right now, he is just, and this is a great match. And this match, he's on cruise control. He's just halfway there, man. He's like, sure, I'll get it done. some point.
Bro, it makes you wonder what happens when he loses that unified championship to Takeshita. What's going to happen to Okada? It's almost as if they only created that championship to have Okada hold it for basically the duration of its creation, only to drop it to Takeshita. What happens to Okada after that? It's almost like he's not even needed at that point. They brought him in to be a tournament wrestler and compete in these 2 Continental Classics. And then what? Nothing, huh?
No.
Nothing.
I don't get it. And bell to bell, I would say he's been disappointing to me.
Me too.
He hasn't sucked. Let me make that clear. Okada does not suck in the ring, but I know he's better than what we've been getting, though.
Bro, he took that fucking $4 million from Tony Khan and said, you know what? I'm going to do 25% of what I did in Japan and coast the rest of the 75%.
What it looks like.
Hangman. He defended the title against Samoa Joe, the AEW World Championship. Bro, this match went 19 minutes, bro. We finally got something under 20 minutes here.
Great.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It didn't make any sense. It didn't need to happen. The story came into it was fucking ridiculous. But this wasn't bad. It was simply done to get Adam Page a match on pay-per-view, and they tried to will a story into existence that just didn't exist. So we'll pick it up.
Fine.
Yeah.
Paint by the numbers is what we would expect. You know, it was fine.
We're still lucky that Joe can still go 20 minutes and still look like a fucking savage out there. So we'll pick it up around the 11-minute mark here. Hangman went for shooting star press. He didn't land it solid, and that led to a 2 count. The announcers talked about Joe trying to move out of the way. Hangman, that was a complete botch. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but you know he did it in the ring. He went for the Asai moonsault on the outside. Joe came back into the ring. He went for a fucking move off the top rope. He didn't land it. So nobody really gave him shit about it. It was they sold it pretty well. So the announcers talked about Joe moving out of the way. Hangman stood and elbowed Joe, tried to lift him. Joe kneed Hangman several times, then powerbombed him for a 2 count, and then went into an STF. Joe then wanted a muscle buster. He came out of the corner with the muscle buster. Hangman held on, resisted. Joe shifted into a chokehold. Hangman slipped free, chopped Joe in the chest. Hangman had enough and yelled, "Come on, motherfucker." And you heard that loud and clear. So he swung wildly at him with a big shot. He charged at Joe. Joe ducked. He went for a buckshot lariat. Joe ducked and applied the coquina clutch. Hangman leaned towards the bottom rope, eventually dragged his leg over the bottom rope. Hangman then hit a dead eye for a very close 3 count. And Hangman went for another buckshot. Joe didn't go down. He hits a second and then the third buckshot. So he basically pulled a page out of Cody Rhodes' playbook. He had to hit 3 buckshots, just like Cody needs to hit at least 3 crossroads to beat his opponents. 1, 2, 3. And Hangman retains the AEW World Championship like we all expected anyway.
Yep.
Solid match here, under 20 minutes. Nothing too crazy to go into detail about. It was just there. Hangman needed an opponent, and that was it.
No, it was, like I said, it was paint by the numbers. Nothing of serious interest happened into the post-show, the post-match shenanigans.
Hangman celebrated to his music. He held the belt in the air. Joe sat up, looked at him. He was a little dejected. Powerhouse Hobbs and Katsuyori Shibata came out to stand next to Joe. Fans were chanting for Joe. He raised his arms. He was selling this like a good old-fashioned baby face. It almost kind of felt like Joe was really kind of going to ride off into the sunset here. But it was a sign of appreciation for the fans because they really loved Joe. Joe was a fan favorite. He shook hands with Hangman. He hugged him, raised his arm. Hobbs is standing next to Joe. He raised Joe's arm. Joe then all of a sudden clotheslined Hangman, and Hobbs and Shibata join in on a 3-on-1 attack on the Hangman. Joe then hits Page with the AEW World title belt and starts screaming at him, "You're not worthy." And Excalibur is wondering, was this the Ops breaking case of emergency situation? Bro, you're not going to explain to me how this makes any sense, bro. This doesn't make any sense, so stop trying. Joe gave Hangman a muscle buster, and Shivani was like, they were just chanting Joe a couple of minutes ago. Yes, they were. I wonder why AEW shifted to turn this group heel. Gee, I wonder why. So ringside medics are out there helping Hangman. They're rolling him out of the ring, and Fans are chanting cowboy shit after this dastardly attack by the Ops, and that's the way the segment came to a close. So I guess we're getting another World Championship match with Joe and Paige, huh?
That's what it looks like to me, brother.
WrestleDream goes into full gear, bro. Who asked for it again?
Run this shit back, man.
And like we discussed earlier, what's going to happen there? It seemingly feels like Joe can't lose a second time after just turning heel. Is he going to be the new champion?
Bro, I think they booked themselves into another corner unless they just plan on going with Joe as champion. I don't know why, but I guess that's where they're headed.
Joe automatically looks like a fucking loser if he loses twice, especially after turning heel. I wonder if MJF is going to be a wild card in this situation. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do to make sense of this.
They got MJF and that contract that he has to give a week's notice for. And if they put the title on Joe, not the titles on a heel, what are they going to do with MJF and his cash in?
Why are we not in a position where Bobby Lashley is in the World Championship title picture? We're still fucking him around in the fucking Hurt Syndicate. I don't know why they didn't add a new member or whatnot. I thought Cedric Alexander was going to debut tonight. We didn't see anything like that happen.
No.
They need bodies at the top of that card, and he's right there, and he's over. I don't know. Don't know what they're going to do. At this point in the show, I didn't know what Jesse and I were going to do. This was... Right now, we passed midnight at this point in the show, and I'm asking myself, I don't believe this show is still on the fucking air. And we finally, mercilessly, get into the main event, man. Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin. I Quit match. We fucking crossed the finish line here. Last match of the night. I Quit. Now, Jesse and I praised this segment that happened on Wednesday with Moxley and Darby in the jail cell, where they were behind the paned glass. I had one guy on social media on Friday, you shit all over the Jon Moxley and Darby story. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Watch the fucking content. Jesse and I openly praised everything about the way that segment was shot, and we wanted to see more of that. I know people are not watching our streams, bro. I know they're not.
No.
Jon Moxley, Darby Allin here. At least they at least took that into this, and they gave you at least some interest. Bro, this went 28 minutes. This went 28 minutes. Moxley, you knew he was going to bleed here.
Oh, God.
So he starts here by kicking Darby's teeth into the middle rope. Darby went down and checked his mouth for blood. Moxley wrapped his fist with the chain and pinched his face. Darby's mouth started bleeding from the shot on the bottom rope. Moxley looked at the blood on his fist. He then pulled back the chain right into Darby's mouth. He starts choking him out. Fans start chanting, "Fuck you, Moxley. Fuck you, Moxley." He starts yelling at the fans, mouthing off of the fans. So he knocked Darby then into the ringside steps. He followed him. And he threw Darby then back first into another set of ringside steps. Marina Shafir supplied Moxley with wooden barbecue skewers, Jesse. This was the point where, you know, I know they're going to play it up for effect, but just the sheer fucking thought of it, I had to turn away from the TV, bro. If there's one thing that I can't stand, man, like the fingernails or digging underneath the fingernails and just kind of doing that type of thing, bro, it is so nerve-wrackingly fucking uncomfortable. I had to turn away. And I know why they do it, but he takes these skewers and he jabbed a skewer underneath Darby's fingernails. Darby screaming in pain, and he did not tap due to this. So I'll stop there, bro. What were you doing? What were you doing on stream? What was your reaction on stream to this spot here?
For the skewers?
Yeah.
So, like we anticipated, I anticipated something. I anticipated them having a few things they were gonna do. I'm sure they had a few things in mind to do something different. That is the thing that I appreciate about a match with these two guys, and one of the reasons I was looking forward to this match. They're not just gonna come out and pull out the thumbtacks and no, we're gonna do a thumb. They're gonna come up with fucking different shit, and that's exactly what they did. They came up with the skewer through the thumb. I think it was a pretty good illusion. I don't think he actually physically put them in there, but we know that is something they probably would fucking do. So it was already gross enough for me. So that was cool. Again, I expected this match to deliver the goriness that it did. This match went 28 minutes. This was a match that deserved to go 28 minutes. It's the main event. I'm sure they have a lot of shit planned, a lot of spots planned. They need time to fucking do them, so they're not running out there and just rushing through spots to get through them. No, this was a match that deserved the 28 minutes that it fucking got. And it was fucking fucking gory. It delivered. Look, I'm a fan of fucking horror movies and shit like that. So I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, this was Saw-like for sure. I had to turn away. I can't stand looking at anything like that, even though I know it's played up for effect. So the referee started asking Darby if he wanted to quit. He yelled "fuck no" at the referee. Moxley then whipped Darby towards the steps again at ringside. Darby leapt over them this time and then drop kicked Mox, running back at him. They both returned to the ring finally. They start throwing some standard slaps at each other. And then they started punching at each other. Darby landed a sudden code red. Darby grabbed the AEW flag, which he took up to Mount Everest with him. He brought it here and said in the segment on Wednesday that he was going to choke Jon Moxley out with it and make him say, "I quit" with it. He wrapped it around Moxley's throat. He then hanged Moxley from the ring apron with the flag. Moxley then gouged Darby's eyes to break Darby's grip with the flag. Darby then mounted Mox and started punching away at him. He went for a coffin drop off the top rope, but Marina Shafir pulled Moxley out of the way, so Darby crashed on the apron all by himself. Moxley then whipped Darby with a belt. He took his belt off. He started whipping him with it. Darby called on him to do it again. Darby popped up, leapt onto Moxley's back. Moxley yanked him off and landed a release German. Darby crawled over to a backpack in the corner, and he grabbed something from the backpack. He then squirted Jon Moxley with lighter fluid, and he doused him completely from head to toe with lighter fluid. So Excalibur's playing up. Oh, man, you could smell it from here. Darby then reached into the backpack and pulled out a spray can. He sprayed Wheeler Yuta and Danny Garcia in the eyes with this substance. Moxley then caught Darby with a cutter and put a stop to him, at least for now, setting him on fire. Moxley then called for a towel to wipe off this lighter fluid. Claudio tossed him one. Moxley wiped off the lighter fluid. Moxley reached into the backpack and found one of those tasers, a taser gun. So it was working here, and you heard the zap of the taser. Moxley jabbed Darby. Darby blocked it at first. Marina comes from behind and gives Darby a low blow, and Moxley then jabbed Darby with the taser right in the midsection. He then stomped on Darby's head and delivered a curb stomp. He sets up a chair, gave Darby a paradigm shift onto the chair, which looked awful. Referee went to go check on Darby. Meanwhile, Marina and Yuta are setting up a table at ringside. Moxley applies a bulldog choke next on the mat, choking him out. Darby looked completely out of it. Darby gestured with a middle finger that he wasn't going to give up and told Moxley to go fuck off. Moxley let go. Claudio enters the ring and picks up Darby over his head, Jesse, in a gorilla press and tossed him from the ring completely over the announce desk on the outside, where he landed on the desk and landed right underneath all three commentators' feet, bro. They were yelling on air, "I think he's dead. I think he's dead." Darby landed on it, bro. He landed with such a thud that I thought he was critically injured. And then Pac comes over, and bro, I thought the way that this was shot was cool. I would not want to be Darby in this case, just being flung from Claudio to the announce desk, and then what Pac did to him afterwards, bro. Pac dragged him from the fucking commentary table all the way to the aisleway, and the camera had this low-angle shot where it almost felt like you were being dragged along with Darby by Pac to the aisleway. I thought the way this was shot was cool, but my God, man, any normal human being would have given up, man, and it really... A, it shows you how tough Darby is, and B, man, they just treat him like a crash test dummy. I don't even know if he's human, quite honestly.
This was fucking great. I see a bunch of panty waste fucking complaining about it in the chat, but this was fucking great. This is Darby's art, bro. This is what he does. There's certain wrestlers who are grapplers. There's certain wrestlers who are brawlers. There's high flyers. Darby and Moxley are death match wrestlers. This is what they do. This is what they have. This is what they have their expertise in. And I knew when they set these fucking spots up for the night, I knew that they were gonna have some shit up their sleeve that we have never seen before. Claudio, as tall as he is, fucking bench pressed Darby and went towards some setup tables on one side and made us think he was gonna throw him through there. And he said, "Fuck that." Turned around and went and yeeted this motherfucker over the top rope, across the gap between the ring and the announce table, and landed him right on the announce table, and then he just floated right onto the goddamn ground, bro. I thought this was fucking great. This was fucking great. Does this mean that Darby's going to be doing this shit for a very long time? No. He will not be a pro wrestler for a very long time. But the time that he is here, he's going to give us shit like this. When you get a pay-per-view with a scheduled I Quit match between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin, this is the proper time and the moment to give us these kinds of spots. We expect them, and they fucking delivered them. And I thought you're right. The camera work was great. How they just fucking dragged him across and they followed him. And then they put him back in the ring. And then they put him through the fucking tables that we thought he was going to go through originally.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah. So there's your one positive for the night there. We love the camera work. So Darby landed on the announce desk. They dragged him over to where the two tables were set up earlier by Marina and Yuta. Moxley, like Jesse said, gave Darby a death rider off the apron through these two tables at ringside. So fans are chanting at this point, "This is murder." Referee checked on Darby. Moxley kneeled down and is telling Darby, "Quit, quit, quit." Referee said Darby's not going to quit. So he's yelling at Darby to quit. And Moxley is saying, "Do what's right for him. You don't care for him. These people don't care for him. I care for him." End the match. So Moxley's raging at this point. Claudio and Pac set up the next spot in the ring. They bring out an empty fish tank. And then they bring out two Gatorade buckets full of cold water. They pour this cold water into the fish tank. Now, you know, as demented as I am, I thought that they would do a piranha spot, bro. I thought they were going to put fish, piranha fish in this fucking thing. I thought it was going to be something ridiculous, or a fucking electric eel or something. I don't know. I thought it was going to be something ridiculous. So
people in my chat were saying that too. Where are the piranhas? I was like, no, they're not gonna fucking.
So they poured water into the empty fish bowl, a fish tank. Shafir dragged Darby over to the fish tank. Moxley splashed water in Darby's face and then shoved his head into the water and started waterboarding him live on pay-per-view in the middle of the ring. So at least he was there. He doused him underwater for at least 8 to 10 seconds. Darby wouldn't quit. He yanked him out again. He pulls him back down under the water and pulls him up again. All of a sudden, after the second dunk and he pulls him up, the lights go out. And all of a sudden, the lights come back on and we see Sting. Sting's wearing a black leather jacket. He's got his Sting merchandise on. He's holding his signature baseball bat. He's got his hair slicked back. And this guy looks fucking beast. He's got the old man Gandalf beard growing. He looks fucking great. 66-year-old. He looks like Grandpa Sting out there. Still looks great. He attacked Moxley with the baseball bat, and he starts smashing the aquarium. Bro, I thought glass was going to fly in someone's fucking eye the way he shattered this goddamn fish tank, and there's water everywhere, bro. Someone's going to slip on glass. Glass is going to go flying with the bat fucking cracking the fish tank. So he attacks Moxley with the bat. He smashed the aquarium. There's water everywhere. He tossed the bat to Darby as Moxley is looking just completely out of his mind in shock. Fans are chanting, "Thank you, Sting. Thank you, Sting." Shafir gets in Sting's face as he's walking up the aisleway. He lifted her and carried her to the back. He takes her out of ringside. Darby walked through all the puddle of water and broken glass in the ring due to Sting breaking this fish tank. Darby swung the bat into Moxley's abdomen. He hit him all over the back with the bat, and he cracked him in the knee. Darby starts to smash the aquarium again and break whatever was left. He then wrapped the flag around Moxley's neck and gave him a scorpion death drop. Then this is where the bullshit happened, and this was one of the worst endings to an I Quit match I think I've ever seen. and one of the worst endings in AEW history. He followed up with the Scorpion Death Drop into a coffin drop. He then puts Moxley in a very ugly-looking Scorpion Deathlock in the middle of the ring, laying in this puddle. Moxley tried to power out, and he quickly said, I quit. And Darby Allin wins the I Quit match with a Scorpion Deathlock. Bro, Darby, listen, Darby was thrown over the fucking ropes, through the announce table, and he took a devastating bump. This guy was dragged from one corner of the fucking arena to the other corner as he was being fucking getting ready to get buried after they murdered this guy in cold blood. He goes through a fucking table. He gets waterboarded. He gets fucking barbecue skewers underneath the fingernail. He gets choked out with a fucking chain across the mouth. And the match ends with Jon Moxley giving up to a Scorpion Deathlock that wasn't even applied correctly. Does AEW take us to be fools? People wasted $50 for the conclusion of this match to get a Scorpion Deathlock ending what they called an I Quit match. This was theoretically, Jesse, this was the same match that Jon Moxley and Adam Page did at Allin in Texas in front of 21,000 people, where they basically gave you this type of match but labeled it a Texas death match. This was basically that tonight here with Darby and Mox, but a little bit less important. And it ends in a Scorpion Deathlock. Bro, I don't think I've been as cheated, as robbed, or as deflated. Now, I didn't give a fuck about this coming in, but to see that end like that and not some treacherous fucking gnarly way like we know they wanted to do. Bro, threatened to burn this guy with a fucking flamethrower. I mean, we seen Adam Copeland threaten Christian Cage with Spike, and he gave up. A Scorpion Deathlock, bro. Are they fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I wasn't as offended by it as you were, but this was definitely a lame finish when you calculate all of the stuff that they gave us. I mean, they could have done anything to make this match. They already doused him with lighter fluid. They could have had him approach him with matches and had Mox give up then. That would have made more sense. I don't want to get fucking set on fire. I quit. They had a taser right there. They could have had him zap him with a taser a few times to the point where Mox fucking quit. I've never been zapped with a taser, and that shit looks fucking painful. So if I see somebody get zapped a couple of times, I would understand why they quit. You put them in a regular wrestling hold, and that was the end to your I Quit match? That was a little off-putting. That I didn't understand that one at all. They could have easily come up with something more believable. They had Darby choking out Mox with the flag a couple of times. I would understand him quitting to being choked out with a flag. That would make sense.
Yes.
That would make sense. But just a regular wrestling hold and Jon Moxley, a name who will go down in wrestling history as one of the biggest deathmatch wrestlers of all time, match with Nick Gage. You know what I'm saying? The guy will go down in the lights of like a Mick Foley and Terry Funk. Jon Moxley, that name deserves to be in that group. And he just said, I quit to a Scorpion Deathlock. That wasn't enough. Not for that, and not for this match. That ending, they could have came up with anything would have been better than what they gave us. I don't want to take away from the match itself. I was highly entertained, especially by all of the spots that Darby did. But yeah, they definitely could have given us a little bit of more of an ending, a little bit more fitting for the match that they presented us.
This may have been one of the worst endings to an AEW pay-per-view of all time. I remember Moxley, I think it was Moxley and Omega, wasn't it? Where they had that exploding barbed wire death match at Daly's place and the fucking thing went poof and didn't explode. Was that them?
That was Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. Okay. Yeah, that was, this was as bad, if not worse than that. This was awful.
It was not worse than that. It was not worse.
The match itself was what we were expecting. But the ending was terrible. It was fucking absolutely just deflating to end the show that way. And then they quickly go off the pay-per-view as if the pay-per-view providers were like, enough of this shit. Like, it was 12:30, went 4.5 fucking hours. The show should have ended, honestly, an hour earlier, to be quite honest with you. And I mentioned on social media, this is what they opted to put over the World Championship. Now, I don't know if I would have made that decision. The World Championship should be in the main event, especially crowning Adam Page the way that you did with the fanfare that you did should not be second rate to a fucking I Quit match that ends with a Scorpion deathlock for the I Quit. Give me a break. The main event should have been the World Championship with Samoa Joe going off the air, turning heel on Adam Page. This should have been somewhere placed in the middle of the show. It didn't need to go off the air if this was the fucking ending that you all brilliantly came up with. Are you fucking serious? I had to wait for this to end at 12:30 for a Scorpion deathlock. Bro, I feel cheated.
It was, look, man, it was not that bad. The exploding barbed wire shit was a botch, and it looked painfully fucking horrible. And it will probably go down as one of the worst wrestling endings ever. This was just anticlimactic. That's it. I mean, it didn't fit. It didn't fit. They could have come up with anything would have been better. It wasn't like, it wasn't a botch. I mean, this was the way they planned it, but the deathmatch shit was the worst thing to ever happen. This wasn't anywhere near as bad as that. It was just anticlimactic to what they've been giving us before. All of the spots before were more impactful than the ending, which shouldn't be. They could have ended it with the fucking skewers through the fucking finger. I mean, anything would have been better than what they gave us.
Tony Khan's tweet. Thank you all to watch or who watched WrestleDream tonight. Tonight's show was one of my favorite events ever, and it's only my subjective personal opinion, but I thought it was a phenomenal show start to finish tonight, thanks to the AEW wrestlers, staff, and AEW fans. Man, the bar is set so incredibly low over there, bro, that this is one of his favorite shows ever. Give me a fucking break. Oh, my God.
These are promoters.
Come on, man. Give me a break. Anyway, that's your WrestleDream post show. I got us out of here in 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I'm going to leave it up to Jesse because I know he wants to go to bed. Either stay, bro, or you are welcome to go to sleep.
I got to be. My wife just got home from the wedding, so I got to go out here and deal with that one, man.
There you go, man.
So, thanks for having me, man. It was fun. This is what we do, man. We stay up late for AEW pay-per-views. Yep. Chat, you guys take it easy. I will see you guys here on Wednesday.
We'll be here Wednesday.
Take it easy,
all
brother.
Right, brother. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Later, man.
All right. Thank you guys very much for all your support. Jesse's going to head on out of here, man. Thank you. We're going to go and transition into the solo. There you go, man. Look at that. Look at that. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go and check out all of the content on the channel. There's plenty of it, especially that Andrade 2-day coverage. Go check that out. 1,000 likes, we hit it. Excellent. We had 3,000 people live tonight, and it's still 3:30 in the morning. We got 2,700 people in here. Thank you guys for a great stream. Energetic stream. Hopefully we delivered on our complaints because this was a terrible show. Let's get to these super chats and then I am going to take myself to sleep. I'd love to be playing Battlefield 6, but I am not playing until tomorrow. It's going to be a long day. Michael Krause with a $2 super chat and a 22 months. JD Jesse OTS, will the dream be good or bad? Yeah. And he says, JD Jesse, all of us here at the venue, thank you for everything you do each week. You are number one for being the best, so thank you again. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you, brother. Jay Gordo with a 10. JD, your show is fucking awesome. I watch your show every week. You're doing a phenomenal job. Keep doing it. The haters are going to hate. Why? Because they don't do it like you. Fuck the haters. OTS for life. Thank you, Gordo. I appreciate that, man. Hologram, I think I haven't played yet. From what I've watched Doc play it. I think I'm going to actually purchase the full game. When does it come out and when can I purchase it? ZR the Hedgehog with a $5 super chat. JD, I know the chair shots are banned, so what would be a safer option to use to tell a WWE story, what would you make the chairs be made of for safer shots? Nothing. I would just have everybody get their hands up. You know, it's human nature to throw your hands up in a situation like that when you're about to be hit in the fucking head. If they can get their hands up to block the chair shot, then block the chair shot. Don't openly just have somebody take a chair shot to the fucking skull. October 30th it comes out. I will be buying it. I think that's when Trivium's new album comes out, too. Nate with a $5 super chat. Whose title reign is worse? The laziness of Hangman or Mariah or soon to be Stat? All this year, by the way. Plus, I swear I get better stories from Korn than AEW. Korn like corn on the cob or the band Korn? Thoughts and prayers. Sam Rivers, I believe, the bassist for Limp Bizkit, passed away, 48 years old. It's terrible, man. We lost Ace Frehley 2 days ago. We lost Sam Rivers tonight. Who's the third? Who's number 3? Who's number 3 in the music industry to go, man? You know someone else is going. Joshua with 11 months. Thank you, JD, for watching AEW tonight. So I don't have to. Been about a month now since I watched AEW. Keep it that way, bro. I got you covered right here. Oh, that corn hologram. Okay. Gotcha. It's late, bro. Sorry. My brain is not functioning the way that it should be. Lenin Jimenez with a 20 Mexican pesos. It's Sting! God, he's the fucking worst. He is the fucking worst. D'Angelo. Oh, yeah, that's the third one. There you go. There's the 3. D'Angelo, Ace Frehley, and Sam Rivers. There you go. Revol's with a 2. Well, Sting's retirement is ruined now. Well, he didn't wrestle a match. He just came in to help his friend. Toni probably paid him a nice chunk of change to come to St. Louis, and there you go. Michelle with a 5. Happy that Darby won. That said, what the fuck was that all about? That was not wrestling, but attempted murder on TV, and only Sting comes to help Darby. Bad pay-per-view. Scumdog 420 with a $5 super chat. What's up, JD? I got my iced coffee and ready to watch the stream. I didn't watch the pay-per-view, but I can't miss your show. Scumdog, we got you covered, and hopefully we delivered. Tony Khan's Long, or Tony Khan's Slong with a $4.99. Well, pal, what did you think of AEW WrestleDream? The revolution of the slong continues. Universe 293 Ass Eater. Thank you, Tony Khan Slong. Steph Curry fan 500 with a $5 super chat. Wait, so did the live feed of the pay-per-view get cut? I'm glad I didn't buy this shit show. Yeah, some people on Amazon were saying it got cut for at least 90 minutes. I don't know why you guys opt to go through Amazon, man. Just go through YouTube if that's the point. Or if that's going to happen. I don't understand it. Boots, again, thank you, brother, for the $100 super chat. Kickstarting the bombs tonight. DW Hurd with a 5. How is this worse than AEW Dynasty in fucking April? They're about the same. Don't at me. Joshua with a 2. Would you say Bound for Glory was better than WrestleDream? Bro, I would take Javon Evans versus Leon Slater over every match that happened tonight. Yes. Yes, I enjoyed Bound for Glory more than I did WrestleDream. MGM Bolin with a 47 months. Your fake reaction impersonation actually sounds like Toni Schiavone. LOL, what a dynamite moment. Bro, I'm going to recreate something at some point the way Doc or Dr. Disrespect reacted to the Black Ops 7 trailer. I'm going to do it. One of these days, I'm going to do it. The same way he did. I don't know what it's going to be about. I don't know what it's going to be for, but it's coming. Scumdog with a 9 months. How has Battlefield 6 been? I've been playing mainly COD. Would you recommend it? Yes. Battlefield 6 has scratched an itch that I've been wanting for several years. I rage. I question some deaths, but I'm not sitting there, complaining. I'm legitimately sitting there wanting to continue to play. I just don't know what... I'm an AR carbine guy, so I don't know what type of AR I should use. I've almost maxed out my M4. So I need to know what people are using besides the M4. Based CLC with a $4.99. That main event was horrible, and Moxley looked weak. Garbage mud show. Appreciate the honesty, JD. Thank you, Based. KMG, thank you for the $100 super chat, brother. Appreciate you as always. We love KMG. Oh my God. Oh yeah, we got the weary traveler. We got the weary traveler. I thought I had missed you. No, we got you. Thank you, brother. Glad you're watching the show on the big screen. Much love as always. JD's got balls praising Doc. I watch Doc every fucking time he streams, man. Fuck cancel culture. Doc is still the GOAT, and Doc is still a major influence on what we look like here. Still the number one fucking stream in the community, man. Everybody else is just fucking playing catch-up. Fuck cancel culture, fuck Twitch, and fuck the woke agenda that tried to get rid of him, bro. The guy came back fucking bigger and better than ever, man. Fuck them. Literally no evidence, literally nothing, and nothing was ever in accordance to the law, bro. Everything was thrown out by a judge. A judge never sentenced him to anything. Nothing. Nothing. If he did wrong, he'd be in jail for a very long time. They found nothing. BC. $9.99. Literally turned the show on as I was coming down from Magic Mushrooms. And it was the I Quit match. Maybe the psychedelics talking, but there is something disturbing about Darby Allin. I worry for him. Bro, he's not normal. He's not normal, bro. I don't even think he's of this earth. Sean Waters with a $5 super chat. The main event began as an I Quit match and ended as a submission match. Yeah. It's basically what it boils down to, bro. Exactly what happened. Ethan Nelson with a $9.99. Mercedes joins Triple H and Jeff Jarrett with her own twist on a reign of terror. The women's division is cooked. Bro, this is the worst run of Mercedes' career. Oh, Hooligrim, I didn't watch his Black Ops 7 video making fun of swag. No, I gotta watch that. Yeah, this is the worst run of Mercedes' career. By far, easily the worst run of her career. Shane Brown with 34 months. I haven't stayed awake for one of these shows for the last 3 years. I may watch 10% of the show. I'm always awake to listen to you, brother. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Captain Solo with a $5 Super Chat. People want to compare Mercedes to Hulk Hogan, but there is no comparison. Hulk never had 10 championships at the same time. Mercedes is cringe. Bro, everything we didn't want with this Mercedes Moné character, we got, and it's ruining her perception, bro. It's ruining her presentation. She thinks it's great. I think it's terrible. The worst run of her career. Oh, okay. I thought he was making fun of Swag reacting to Swag's reaction. Yeah, I gotta do that. I gotta do that with these fake reactors, man. I gotta react to something that they react to. Sarit Mohanty. Thank you, brother. When Mercedes AEW contract ends, WWE should make sure never to sign her unless it's mentioned in her contract that she should only put over young talents and never eye any more titles. Yes, Hulk Hogan could cut a promo. Mercedes can't. Hulk Hogan was entertaining. Mercedes is not. Agree on all accounts. BC with a $4.99. I'll remember Crown Jewel for Styles and Cena, and I'll remember this show for Moxley sticking skewers in Darby's fingernails. What a vast contrast, bro. I take Cena Styles over everything that this show delivered over 5 hours. Sarit also says, Charlotte gets so much hate, but Mercedes is worse. She was supposed to be the continuation of Women's Revolution, but she's the reason for now that she's become the death of AEW's Women's Revolution. I agree. This is the Mercedes Revolution. This is not a women's revolution. It's the Mercedes Revolution. Rusty Wagner with 48 months. Haven't watched in a bit. Fell asleep through the show multiple times. Rusty, I'm sorry to hear that, brother, but these shows offer little to no interest whatsoever. It is fucking awful. Matt's. What is this? It's Matza Balls with a $1.99. Little Sky Blue. Little Sky Blue. She needed the money. Oh! I love a good dice joke, man. Little Sky Blue. She needed the money. Oh! Theme Parks and Things, 35 months. Thank you, JD and Jesse, for the stream, but how was the pay-per-view? Was it worth it? Giving a watch. Thank you, guys. No. Do not waste your money on it. We gave you everything you needed. Ethan Nelson with a $9.99. John Moxley will lose like a geek on pay-per-view, then proceed to walk back in on Wednesday's Dynamite like nothing happened. This is true. Real Danimal with a $10 super chat. Recently, you've been shitting on reaction streamers. To a certain extent, I agree with you. But what about Ross? I genuinely like him and would love to see another collaboration. I don't lump Ross into that, just like I don't lump Jesse into that. Ross has fucking Ross has like a 10 million fucking subs. 10 million times more subs than these fucking reaction streamers. No, I don't lump him into that. We'll work together again, I'm sure. But I don't lump him and Jesse into that. They don't act like that. They don't act like these other people. And the thing that Ross will do is he will criticize something when he doesn't like it. The others don't. They just... because they don't want to ruffle any feathers. True Crime Unleashed with a $2 super chat. Your thoughts on Rhea's broken nose in Japan? She'll be fine. She'll be fine. I saw her social media. She'll be fine. We're going to get Io versus Asuka at Saturday night's main event. Del Polo with the 10 months. I think that's Del Polo. Hey, guys. Oh, hi, guys. Thank you for turning a horrible product into an entertaining show. My question, how would you book Chris Jericho's WWE return? Number 10 in the Royal Rumble. Francis Loop with a $5 super chat. Deon Purrazzo is competing in the inaugural ROH Women's Pure Championship Tournament, currently feuding with Trish Adora of Shane Taylor Promotions. Bro, there's not a single fucking person here that watches any of that nonsense. There's not a person here that watches any of that nonsense, man. Don't be silly. Anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here. It is late. We're going on 4 a.m. here on the East Coast, man. These AEW shows, I don't understand. Something's got to be done about them, man. They are fucking absolutely as brutal as anything I've ever seen. I can't stand it. But you guys give me the strength, and so does my beautiful $2,000 espresso machine, man. I made a killer pumpkin spice latte tonight that got me through this entire show, man. I love it. Thank you guys very much. I will be back with more content. I was going to do a video on the WWE AI stuff. I don't even know if it's worth it anymore. But I'm glad we got this stream over and done with in timely fashion. And we'll be back. I may take Sunday off, man. I'm fucking burnt. I just may spend the day playing Destiny 2 and Battlefield. Grinding my light level to 510 and then leveling myself up in Battlefield. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you guys for a great stream. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you go check out all the content on the channel. There's plenty of it. Next time you see me live will be on Monday. Monday Night Raw, man. We got a big Monday Night Raw. What is Braun Breaker going to say? What is Paul Heyman going to say in regards to turning on Seth Rollins and dismantling the Vision? This is going to be a Monday Night Raw that's, I feel like a lot of people are going to be interested to see. Anyway, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you guys for the super chat love. And leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought of this shit show called AEW WrestleDream. Guys, thank you for a great stream. Get some rest. I know I will definitely try to. I'll see you Monday live right here on Off the Script for the Monday Night Raw post show on OTS. I'll see you guys later.